for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game.
Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well. Happy New Year. We made it. It's 2018. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Tuesday, January 2nd. 2 days into the new year, just 363 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planets, I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? 2018 is officially here. This will be the only night that we actually say that, but it is our first broadcast of 2018. And kicking off the year tonight is our guest, Eric Rains. Eric Rains is here. Now, tomorrow night, Jason Quitt is going to be here live from Canada. Thursday night's another Fader night with the No More Fake News Room live with John Rappaport, followed by open lines all night long. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Easy, JChurchRadio. Follow us right there. Use the hashtag F2B for the sandbox. Come and join in the conversations. And also, if you have any questions or comments during the show tonight for myself or our guest, and tonight that's Eric Rains, use hashtag F2BQ. You can also email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, breaking news. I'm going to jump straight into, you know what? No, I'm going to announce the winners of our next late night podcast star contest. I'm going to do that in just a bit. Okay, so hang on. That's what we're doing here tonight at the front of the show. Let me get all of the other stuff out of the way so we can move on. Our next event will be the Conscious Life Expo, February 9th through the 12th, 2018. Next month, 5 weeks, at the LAX Hilton. Tickets and info are over on our website. Click on the banner for Conscious Life Expo. Just click on that. It'll take you straight over. A full weekend of not only presentations and panels, but there's some really cool parties and get-togethers and things that are going on. George Norrie is going to be doing his thing all weekend. So is David Wilcock. Corey Good's going to be there. I will be hosting the Ancient Aliens panel opening night, Friday night in the Plaza Ballroom. My guests will be Linda Moulton Howe, Corey Good, David Wilcock, Jay Widener, and of course, William Henry, all stars of Ancient Aliens. And they all also have their own programming over on Gaia TV. So that will be Friday night. Come and hang out with us. It's such a great, amazing weekend there at the Conscious Life Expo. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Our podcast, we have over 780 archived shows right there. Custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms. It's just $2 a month. And it's for everybody out there. We do this as a service for you. That's why it's only $2 a month. We would do it for free if we could. But the podcast company that we work with, that's giving it away, $2 a month. So there you go. And it's a rebroadcast of the show the next day in its entirety for all of you out there that can't listen to the show live and you need an app and you just want to jump in your car, plug it in and head off down the road. That's what you do. Get our podcast, just $2 a month. You can also become a Fade or Not. You can go to our membership section at Jimmy Church Radio and you can become a Fade or Not for free. Right? And then we have all kinds of other options there for you. You can go all the way to the Game Changer. Well, you get that Fade to Black gear. You get a T-shirt and a hat. And the hats are embroidered, by the way. We don't sell those. We don't even give them away. Had a big party this weekend, and nobody got a Fade to Black hat. I thought about that, too. I thought, man, should we just, give it? And you know what? That's the deal that we have struck with all of you. Become a Game Changer. You get the embroidered Fade to Black hat. It's the only way to get the hat. My family doesn't have Fade to Black hats. I have friends out there that I've known for 30, 40 years. I've said, hey, man, I'll play golf with your hat on. I'll take pictures, man. Send me the hat. They ain't got it. No, the only way to get it is the Game Changer right there. And don't forget all of our sponsors, Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Manna Food Storage, and Bearing Optics. Visit all of our sponsors. That's how we do this show, and we bring it to you for free every single night, okay? All right, let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Dax Shepard. Today is 43. He was brilliant in Let's Go to Prison, Idiocracy, two very good movies. But Zathura, that was a good movie. And he plays the astronaut. He's not a comedian. He plays the astronaut and does a really good job. I was going to say he's the real deal. All right. On this day in history, OTD, 1981, Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, is apprehended after killing 13 women in a 5-year manhunt in the United Kingdom. Fader fact. Now, check this out. This is a real Fader fact. The United States Embassy in Kathmandu has guidelines on what to do if a Yeti is found. They've got guidelines at the U.S. Embassy. That is a Fader fact. All right, tonight's our first show of the year. And tonight we have very special guest Eric Rains is here. Tomorrow night, Jason Quit. And Thursday night's another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. Eric Rains, I saw his presentation up at Eclipse of Disclosure, and he's running around, and there's some really cool pictures of Eric and his family and myself and Rita that we posted. But Eric's presentation up there stopped me in my tracks. And I knew, and Rita just couldn't stop. We've got to get Eric on the show. Well, we saved a special spot for Eric. That is our kickoff show for 2018. And just enjoy the show tonight. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, now let's do this. Our next late night podcast star contest. Before I get to the winners, let me make a couple of statements here. First off, thank you to everybody that entered the contest. You made it very, very difficult. I don't know how many entries we had, but it was way north of 100. And so you're looking at artwork, you're listening, you're considering so many different things, and the time and effort that everybody put into it, I want to thank you. Okay? That was just unbelievable to go through that. And it came down to this. What we thought we thought that we were going to have a lot of great entries, but there would be one that would stand out, and we knew who that winner was going to be, and it was going to be easy. No, it was not that kind of party at all. Rita and I did a lot of pacing, and, Rita, I'm going to quote Rita. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? It was like that. It was difficult at best, and it came down to wondering if we should do 10 winners. And I said this, look, we have to pick a winner. We have to, and we couldn't. We could not. The debating went on. That's how good the contest was. So we have 3. We have 3 winners, and those winners are in no particular order. It's a 3-way tie. Everybody gets the same grand prize from Tascam. You're going to get the US 42 portable console. You're going to get the Tascam microphone, and you're going to get Tascam headphones, all courtesy of Tascam. Okay. And everything will be shipping tomorrow. So congratulations. Now, the winners are Philip Van Scotter. Philip Van Scotter. And his podcast name is Beyond Black and White. Very, very, very awesome name for the show. Great artwork. And above all, good voice. And very... just awesome presentation. Our next winner is Amy Perry Lane for her entry, and her podcast is called Shards of Reality. There you go, Amy Perry Lane. And our third winner, 3-way tie, this is not in any order, is Sam Wurzeldine. And his podcast is called Reality 2.0. Okay, now, this is what I want to do. I'm going to see if I can get some of these folks on the line. Let's see here. Let's try. Okay, am I muted? I am muted. Let's try this one first. Let's see if I can raise somebody on the phone. I'm going to do this live. Aha, it's ringing. Nobody home. Watch this. I've got no answer. Unbelievable.
Please leave your message for...
All right. That's funny. That is too funny. Okay, let's try this next one.
Hello.
May I speak to Amy, please?
This is Amy.
Hi, Amy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited. Oh, my God. I just heard. I was screaming and yelling.
So you heard it live on the radio. Okay, so this isn't that much of a surprise. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I can't lie. I was listening to the show. I listened.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. You made my entire year.
Well, and that's the point here, Amy. But your idea for the show, which is Shards of Reality, and in our debating this, there was one thing that you did in your. I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to play your audition tape. All right, I'm not going to do that. But it was really, really good. But there was I could tell that you were speaking from the heart, right? But you rattled off like 8 things in the paranormal and conspiracy, right? These 8 subjects. Bam, 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 bam. And I was like, she knows exactly what she wants to talk about, right? and your enthusiasm. Now, you run, help me out here. You run a paranormal, you guys have a little ghost hunting out there. What do you guys do?
Yes, we run an event company. So we're at the Hinsdale House in New York a lot. And we host overnights. So we take people around. We tell them about the locations that we're at. We show them how, what we've learned through the years and observing different locations and our theories and thoughts, and kind of turn them loose at the end of the night to go do their own thing. So
I'm really excited for you. Now, are you prepared to, do you want to do, is this a weekly thing? You want to do this once a week?
I haven't gotten that far about once a week. I mean, yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. It was kind of a long shot. Somebody suggested, hey, put your name in the ring. And I thought, okay. And I was one of the last minute entries.
Yeah. And see,
yeah, so I am prepared, but
and you're all,
now I really got to think of what I want to do.
Well, that's, we've given you all of the tools. Okay, we're going to give you the audience. We're going to give you the gear. Everything that you need to move forward. And this is my advice to you: the enthusiasm that you have right now, the enthusiasm that you did that tape with, the artwork that you submitted was really good too, as well. Who did that?
Part of my team, Expedition. So I have to give mad props to him.
Okay, yeah.
He's a graphic artist, so yeah, he really helped me out there.
Very, very, very cool stuff. Nice and creepy. Really well done, seriously. And all you need to do is that enthusiasm that you have, that's all you have to do is get that into the microphone. You don't have to worry about being somebody that you're not. You are that person already, and it really shone through and on your audition. So congratulations. And again, doing what you do out there in, the ghost hunting paranormal world, you've got everything there you've got all the material that you need forever. So go have fun with it. I'm excited. I can't wait to get your first podcast on the air. And congratulations and Happy New Year, Amy.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Tascam.
You got that right. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.
How cool is that? Okay, so there's one down. Let's see if I can get another one on the phone here. Okay. That's cool. So that was Amy Perry Lane, and her show is called Shards of Reality. Very cool. Here we go.
Hello?
May I speak to Sam, please?
This is Sam.
Hi, Sam. Jimmy Church from Fade to Black.
Jimmy Church, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. How's your 2018 going so far?
I'll tell you what, Jimmy. Just the fact that I'm talking to you, 2018 so far is the best year of my life.
Well, so you think you know what this phone call is about, right?
I've been listening.
You've been listening.
I ruined the surprise.
I was going to say you were runner-up, but congratulations anyway. There are no losers here.
Thank you so much.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. Wouldn't do that to you. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
I'm mind blown, absolutely blown away.
Your demo, your audition was top notch. Your artwork, your enthusiasm was right there, man, right there. And congratulations. It was just a great presentation. Everybody that won tonight, it was we couldn't. If there was one little thing that pushed somebody over the top, we would have had that, but we just didn't have it. And you are an amazing company, because your presentation was right there, and I know you're saying to yourself, man, I thought I did pretty good. These other two winners they are right. They are. Everybody just really good. Now, Sam, really quick, where's your accent? Where are you from?
I'm from the UK originally. I grew up in the south of England. Which I was really lucky to be in that area. It was just a magical place. And for this type of subject matter, everything paranormal, conspiracy, UFO, whatever. I mean, I was literally surrounded by that growing up. So I feel like, I've always had sort of one foot in that realm. And, I've just been blessed because I moved from the UK to Sedona, of all places, which was definitely culture shock. But when I moved to Sedona, it was like, oh my God,
it's going
what's going on here?
Yeah, right.
Everything I experienced there it was like times 1,000 here. So,
Well, congratulations, and a couple of other quick questions. Your show is called Reality 2.0, and why'd you pick that name?
Well, basically, I've just been, like I said, I've been immersed in this world, and I feel like, everything that you bring to the table with Fade to Black and, with Coast to Coast and Dave Schrader Show and all these great shows that are out there discussing this, I really feel like we're in the process of learning about this new version of reality, especially with everything that's just coming out right now. It's just, it's mind-blowing, especially the disclosure that happened on December 16th and everything that's going on. I just feel like we're on the verge of discovering, sort of a next version of understanding reality. So I thought, Reality 2.0 was fitting for that.
Yeah, well done. And for everybody in Sedona, when December 16th, went down, either, I look at it two ways. Either everybody there was excited or everybody out there was like, so what? We see these things every day. We don't need this. What was it like in Sedona?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, you sort of felt like things were going a little bit cold in that area. And I was getting a little bit concerned that, we wouldn't get any news like this. And for the community of people that I'm surrounded with, it wasn't, we obviously know these things exist. So it wasn't really a big deal. But at the same time, having that pilot giving his account, like I think I read another article today, I think Fox put out something else, and just listening to him describe this thing, it doesn't matter if you already know these things exist. Just having those sort of professionals, in that world describe these things that you already know exist was just mind-blowing. So yeah, even though we live that world here in Sedona, it was still mind-blowing.
Well, congratulations. I'm very excited for you, and the equipment, the gear, you're now set up. Okay, so now it's all up to you. I know that after listening to your audition and the artwork and everything that you have done, you've got a really, really great future in front of you. And I can't wait to hear your first podcast and broadcast it here on the Game Changer Network. Let me hear you just say, thank you, Tascam.
Thank you, Tascam. You're amazing.
That's all. That's it. Hey, have a great 2018, and we'll be in touch. Okay, now enjoy the rest of your night, and I know you will. Thank you so much, Sam. Great entry.
Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Love all the fade notes.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
There you go. Okay, thank you, Sam. Great entry. You guys are going to, both Amy and Sam, their stuff is so good. Okay, let me see if I can get Mr. Philip Van Scotter on the phone. And come on, Philip. Let's go. Try one last crack here. This is fun. Man, I wish we could do this every single night, man. That's a show right there. Well, Philip, congratulations anyway. And, man, his entry was so good. I want to talk to him. I've never talked to him. All right. Well, it didn't get Philip on the phone tonight, but congratulations, Philip Van Scotter. His show was called Beyond Black and White. Amy Perry Lane, Shards of Reality, and Sam Wurzeldine, who we just spoke to, his show is called Reality 2.0. And for everybody out there, when we have this many entries and they were that good, There are so many out there right now that are going, man, I did my best. How good? Oh, wait a minute. Is this Philip?
Oh, this is Phil.
Philip, this is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, turn me down in the back. You're listening to the show.
I am, yes.
So this isn't a surprise phone call. You just didn't pick up.
It was the weirdest thing. My phone, I have this new phone, and it got your call coming in, but it wouldn't answer for some reason.
Well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Philip.
Yeah.
What matters is
totally.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel? Now, I've got a couple of minutes here before we hit the break, but your show is called Beyond Black and White, and I listened to your audition 3 or 4 times back to back. I've listened to it many times. It's a contest. We were whittling this down, but when yours first came in, I listened. And you've got a really professional way of speaking and delivery and reading lines. I'm not mistaken when I say that. You've got a real talent for that. Where did that come from?
Well, I have a background in theater, and like you, I'm a guitarist. So music and performing music is probably my favorite thing to do. And I think over the years, learning to project and be right up on that microphone to enunciate is second nature now. And it was funny. I just remembered when I was in high school, I was actually the morning announcement person. And that was my first foray into what was like radio broadcasting.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, it was a hilarious time. It was 17 years old, but I just loved piping the rock and roll. I'd put on the Van Halen or the Devo, like whatever I was in the mood for, and people were very entertained by my morning radio show. But since then, I'm really focused on music, and I've dabbled into some filmmaking. But I've just always been interested in radio, and I'm about 10 years deep into the ufology and this whole amazing culture of researchers and people, and completely inspired by David Wilcock. Actually, Lisa Gar's show with you, I was jumping around screaming because I felt like the things she was saying is what I've been telling people around me in these crazy times. To find that stillness in the storm. It's going to get crazier. Right.
Yeah, it's exciting times. And who would have thought when we started running this contest that this disclosure would have happened at the end of 2017 like it did? So for you and the other winners, you guys, you're kicking things off during a pretty exciting year, not only for ufology, but conspiracy in general, right? It's just like everything is coming apart. And what a great time to jump in.
Exactly. And I feel more energy and interest in all of these subjects now. And I'm extremely excited. And completely hopeful that humanity will find the way to move into what some would call a new age.
Yeah, we're right
without
there.
Getting too hippy dippy.
No, you're right, Philip. And again, congratulations. And just let me hear you say thank you, Tascam.
Thank you, Tascam.
That's all I need. Thank you so much, Philip. Listen, enjoy the rest of your 2018, and we'll be in touch, and I can't wait to hear your first podcast, and let's do this together. Thank you so much. You had a great entry, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. You have a great show tonight, and we'll keep tuning in.
You got it, Philip. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
That is Philip Van Scotter, and his show entry, his show is titled Beyond Black and White. Great entry, And there you go. There's our three contest winners: Philip Van Scotter, Amy Perry Lane, and Sam Worseldine. You are our new late night podcast stars. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with tonight's guest, our first guest of 2018, Eric Rains. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that. Life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at KGRAradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Wow, that was really, really cool. And again, I'm just going to bust this out. Congratulations to Philip Van Scotter, Amy Perry Lane, and Sam Worseldine. You guys are our new podcast, late night podcast stars. Very cool. That was tough. That was a tough decision. And thank you to everybody that entered. We got to do this again. That was just too much fun. All right, Eric Rains. Eric Rains. After an intense energetic activation back in 2012, Eric became aware of the energetic implantation and parasitic construct by direct observation. His subsequent search for answers about this experience led him on a journey to self-discovery. Now, this discovery, coupled with ample real-world practice, allowed him to gain a deep understanding of this invasive system, how to promote self-protection through daily practices, and how to remove these false constructs from himself and others. Constantly expanding his repertoire of tools, Eric currently implements energetic tools ranging from parasite implant removal, meridian clearing and balancing, crystalline organ rejuvenation, theta healing, soul fragment retrieval, remote lymphatic work, and golden light energy work. Now, he teaches as many as he can. As a receiver of this hidden esoteric knowledge, he considers it his duty, his life's purpose, to share this information with the world, to free all of humanity from the ravages of the system and help create a world filled with love, community, and light. His website, now you can click over at jimmychurchradio.com, but it is called UnleashingNaturalHumanity.com. And I would like to welcome for the first time Eric Rains. Eric, good evening, my friend. How are you?
I am doing quite all right. Thank you for having me on, Jimmy. I'm really excited tonight.
Man, not as excited as I am, Eric. But before we get to all of that, you get the first-time guest disclaimer, man. You get the first-time guest disclaimer of 2018, which is even cooler. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's just you and I sitting on my couch, having a conversation as friends. Where the conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we're going to end as friends. You ready to go?
I am.
Now, this can be, I should say, a very deep and sometimes dark subject. And I'm really going to enjoy this conversation tonight. We all suspect these things from time to time, right? We all do. And for you in 2012, I want to go back to that date and before that, because did you have any idea that these constructs, this system, this world even existed?
Well, I always kind of had a little bit of an understanding with the energies. I was always a little bit more sensitive than most. It was just that, I ignored it, and I really didn't pay attention very much to it. And so my whole entire existence up until that point in time when I became very clearly aware of all of this, everybody has like ghost stories or, weird happenings that have gone on. And I had a few of those, and I had some, really odd dreams that I woke up missing time and, just some really odd stuff that had happened, but absolutely no idea whatsoever until that day in the beginning of 2013. It was actually December 21st, 2012. That was the day I completely and totally lost hope, and I started sliding off into the abyss. And down at the bottom of all that darkness, I realized, like, hey, stupid, you can make your own light. Stop sitting here in the dark, So
well,
that's where I come from.
That to hear you say that is shocking, because you're such a bright, happy, cool, intelligent, outgoing, gregarious person. And for you to say that you slipped into the abyss and you went to the bottom, that's bizarre. What a transformation. How long did it take?
It wasn't very long at all. Absolutely, honestly, when I look back on it, it wasn't much time at all. It was about 3 months where the first realization of it was actually a really simple question that really kind of destroyed me. It was, what would you do if your money didn't exist? If money wasn't the issue that you need to survive on this planet, what would you do with your life? And I didn't know. I had no idea what I was passionate about. I had no idea who I was or anything. And I mean, this question, coupled with the energy of the 21st in December in 2012, right, it literally just kicked me right off the edge, right into the deep end. And it was about 3 months total before I completely and deconstructed my life and rose up out of the ashes from it and started making something new. It was not very long at all. Like, when it was time, it was time.
Now, I watched your presentation up at Eclipse of Disclosure, And I was so taken by it because your passion, the way that you are speaking, that was a big crowd. You had a few hundred people sitting in front of you. Your passion for it and your public speaking is spot on the money. Where does that comfort level come from? Did you do public speaking before? I mean, it was so natural for you. It was impressive.
Well, here's the thing about all of this. Like the whole reason that I have this movement called Unleashing Natural Humanity is that natural humanity is something what we would call a god in modern day society. The amount of obfuscation and occultation of our own personal abilities is astronomical. We are so much more powerful than anybody thinks we truly are. And I personally have put all of these to practice. I was the shyest person you ever met in your life. Like if you would have known me 10, 15 years ago, I'm not the same person. And it's not like it's a walk-in scenario where I had another consciousness take over. It was that I recognized I need to do something with my life. I have to do something that's different than where I'm at right now. And so I started, and it was the process of just trying to be better than I was the day before, which led me literally stumbling into a whole plethora of techniques that allowed me to change the inner landscape, I guess you could say. The shadow work is very, very important. The grudges that you hold, the enmities, the hate that you produce in this world. When you think about people in this fashion, you're literally connecting to them energetically, and you're sending them negative emotions, negative energy. And so, like, this is one of the things that I became aware of, and I started using it to cultivate the internal world. And one of the hardest things to ever do is step out of a box that you've kind of put yourself inside of. Like, you draw your boundaries out and you say, this is where I am. That's where I was with my shyness. I didn't like people. Honestly, I was very withdrawn, and I didn't want to do anything that had anything to do with social contact whatsoever. And so I forced myself into it. I put myself into some very uncomfortable situations, like, open mic night at like an improv club. And, I forced myself into it. And then I just got to the point to where with the energy, you can rewrite these programs. And I just kept at it, kept going after it. And you get to the point to where you can see where the confidence overtakes the lack of confidence. And you just say, hey, I know what I know. This is what I do. Ta-da. Hi.
Now,
and that's what I do.
One of the hardest things, let's back up to that statement. One of the hardest things that you will ever do in your life is raise a child. That right there, right? What's your daughter's name?
Which one?
You know which one I'm speaking about. I want you to say
Unity.
Unity. Now, and I was so blown away. I will never forget her for my entire life, right? We had a very fun 2 or 3 days there, as you know. It's just amazing. But so I'm just going to say this to the audience because they weren't there. So I'm up on stage and doing my thing, and I ask for the youngest person in the audience to raise their hand. And your daughter raised her hand, right? And I look out and I said, come here. And she comes running up to the stage. And I said, what's your name? And I hand her the microphone. Unity. Right? I was like, what'd you say? What did you say your name was? Unity. And she wore that shirt. She made sure I autographed it. You remember all of that? It was so much fun.
I do.
But she is spot on the money. She is our future, Eric. You have so much to be proud of. Being, like I said, raising a child, that's tough. Raising yourself, you can get through that. But raising a child, and she is very, very special. So please tell her that, I talked about her tonight, and I did say hello. Is she still wearing her Fade to Black shirt?
Oh, yeah, she's totally still got your shirt, and she's going to be absolutely thrilled to know that she was mentioned on your show tonight. So I'll definitely make sure to let her know. Very cool, very cool. Now, okay, let's bounce back here. December 21st, 2012. That's a pretty interesting question to have an epiphany with. I mean, that could be crushing. Take us through that day. What happened? So I'd been dealing with this question for maybe about 2 weeks at that time. It was near the beginning of December where I accidentally stumbled into a random Bashar video. I don't know if you know who Bashar is, but he's a guy who channels an entity who's supposed to be a higher dimensional extraterrestrial. And he's got some really interesting information that he puts out. And I randomly stumbled into one of his videos on YouTube, and I listened to it. And it was only like a 5 or 6 minute video, and it was the most important question you could ask yourself, or something along those lines. And so when I heard those simple words, that I know all of those words, and I've seen them in multiple combinations, but that combination right there, it really just, it knocked the wind right out my sails. I mean, it was like, I don't know who I am. Here I am at this dead-end job. I'm working in a warehouse. I'm spinning cable, for Christ's sake. You know, I'm getting, like, I have to go get the right reel. I have to get the right amount of length, and then I have to send it off for shipping. This is my life, you know, and, like, I just looked back at everything that I'd ever done, and the only time that I had ever felt anything even slightly positive that had been created from what I had done was when I was helping people. I'd taken like a chiropractic assistant ROP class when I was like 15 years old because I really enjoyed chiropractic, and I thought I wanted to be a chiropractor at the time. And I met a lady who was a massage therapist, and she showed me a few things. She says, hey, you've got some really good hands. You should start looking into this. And it just stuck with me my entire life. And so when this was all going on, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe I should just go enroll in massage school. Maybe I should, you know, I really enjoyed that. Maybe this is my doorway right here, because I knew for a fact that I was completely and totally broken. I was empty. I mean, I was so strung out on drugs. I was so messed up on alcohol. I had such a horrible relationship where we were just, you know, throwing the poison back and forth at each other and making it worse and worse and worse. And I felt the pit. I mean, like the energetic sensitivity that I have, it isn't less then than it is now. It's just that I know what it is now. And I could feel literally this dark pit that I was just sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into. And I could feel things just like gleefully just feeding off of my misery. And I didn't understand what that meant at the time. But, you know, knowing now, I completely get it. But there was something down at the bottom of this pit where, you know, I was just at the end of my rope. I hit rock bottom. I couldn't do it anymore. And I was either going to go take myself out, I was going to kill myself, or I had to figure something else out. And it was in that moment where suddenly the fear of death was no longer as important as the pain that I was going through, when it all just kind of like settled into this clarity of like, Eric, my God, you idiot, smile. Stop perpetuating this frown. Stop going around being a thundercloud. Go look for the sunlight, you know? And like that little break of the clouds right there, that little bit of clarity, suddenly I felt true light inside of me for the first time inside of this darkness. And man, I propelled myself out of that pit, and I shut down everything that I had been doing my whole entire life into those patterns and those processes. And I said, I have to get away. And I completely sold everything. And I ended up having to take my, my second to the youngest daughter now, who was 9 months old at the time. I had to completely leave Nevada, and I had to go live with my mother in California. And I was on welfare and food stamps, and I had just barely enough money for transportation to massage school and food. And it was literally one of the most lack of controlled times that I've ever had in my life. And I literally had to surrender everything. I had to rely on other people even to get to school, because I had a gas-guzzling Ford F-150 that it couldn't make it all the way back and forth from Sacramento from where I was at every day without, you know, it cost me upwards of $1,200 a month, and I was on like maybe $400, and $200 of it was rent. So, you know, it was a really, really tight situation for me. And what I've noticed is that most people, when they get into these situations, they stress on how awful the situation was. And here I was for the first time ever with absolutely no resources to do anything except learn and to take care of myself. And I went after it, man. I went after it hard. I was doing yoga every day. I was sun gazing every day. I was starting to do Reiki. I had a lady do some Reiki work on me, and I felt the constriction in my chest for the first time since I was like maybe 5 years old start to release. And I start to feel happy. I started to feel good. You know, I started to feel all these emotions that I knew were actually out there that I just never been able to connect into, despite the fact that I knew they were there. You know, it was like running into a brick wall for me. And it started a process of transformation that opened me up further and further and further and further. And it was one day where I came into contact with a article, I believe it was called The Secret of the Chakras. And it was I was led here by some research about something called chakra removal. And my first gut instinct reaction when I heard the word chakra removal was, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's no way you can do this. These are endocrine systems. If you pull your endocrine systems out of your body, you're going to die. And but it just kind of stuck with me. And it was like through the 6-month process, I heard this in the beginning, but it was just like ringing in the back of my head this whole time. And this article called The Secret of the Chakras, it really broke it down for me, how the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet spectrum, the rainbow spectrum, when you look at it, this is only about 0.13% of visible light. And the entire electromagnetic spectrum of light is much, much bigger than this. And so what we see with visible light is literally about 1.3% of all of it. And so this really kind of was like, wait a second, so why are we inside of these energy centers to where we can only access this minute amount of frequency? Because when you divide that by 7, this whole rainbow spectrum, the 7 chakras, you get to like about, I believe it's like 0.333%, you know, of the energy that you're supposed to be able to access. And this was really starting to bother me. There was something fundamentally wrong with this that I couldn't understand for the life of me, but I knew that it wasn't right. And so I started, you know, trying to figure out, well, what is full spectrum energy? And I was like, well, if you take a beam of sunlight and you break it apart with a prism, you know, you can get the full colors right there. So I started using white energy, consolidating all of my energy together. And it was very strong. It was very, very strong. But it wasn't until I started adding a golden tinge to it, the golden Christ consciousness edge to the energy, that it really started having an effect where I could use it and people would feel it very intensely. They would feel much more relieved, like a lack of weight that was on their shoulders. They would feel their pain disappear. They would feel their minds become much more clear. And I was really excited about all of this, but I still was like, I still have these colored centers inside my body. How do I change this? And so I embarked on a process of actually integrating my chakra centers into full spectrum energy, which is golden sunlight. And I mean, there's other frequencies outside of this, but it's this right here is the base. This is the foundation. And it was one night, I believe it was February. It was anywhere from February 18th to the 22nd, and this was 2014. And that night, when I integrated my chakra centers into this golden energy, I had an explosion of chi that lit my chest up so incredibly brightly that I felt a magnetic shockwave push out. It was really hard to push into the area surrounding my chest, and it was about 30 degrees hotter than the ambient temperature. And at the same time I did this, I felt the only way to describe this is inside of my DNA was a stretching of ancient muscles that hadn't moved in millennia, and just like like, you know, what noise do you make when you stretch like that? Mm-hmm. And suddenly I had just more energy than I have ever felt in my life just coursing through my body. And it was so intense, I felt like I was going to burn up. And it was all I could do just to direct this through the body and keep it inside the body and contained and not, you know, rupturing out, because it felt like it was a very razor's edge type of a process. If I wasn't on top of this and it fell out, I felt like I was going to die, honestly. And at the same time this was happening, as soon as this initial rush of chi flooded through the body and I can't see anything but golden light and I'm seeing X-ray vision through everything around me, I have this major pain that starts clicking inside of my right temple. And as it's clicking, it's like falling backwards into the back of my head. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that is a very odd sensation. So I'm holding on to all of this energy conduit at the same time I'm observing this and just not really understanding what's happening. But at the same time, it was like I was watching a part of my brain suddenly become much more angry, much more pervasive, and just demonic in the way that it was speaking. And so as this pain started sliding into the back of my head, it got hotter and hotter and hotter until it felt like a red hot poker jamming into the back of my head. And at the same time, the voice was getting crazier and more distorted and demonic until it was a shock flash of, oh my God, there's something inside my head speaking in my head, and that isn't me. And as soon as I had that connection right there, it immediately was like, oh my God, it knows we're here. Right. And it tried to shut it down. And I felt all the light getting just dimmed out. And it took me about 3 hours to finally get rid of that. And I finally got rid of it. And when I did, I felt other black spots inside of my body that had the same type of frequency as that. And I removed those. Immediately, it felt like I'd lost about 100 pounds. Suddenly, I felt like I was a balloon floating I literally was losing weight at the same time I wasn't losing physical weight. And I don't know how to explain that unless you've actually undergone this process and know what that means. But at the same time, my head, which at that time I had never really realized how noisy and crazy it was completely silent. I was inside of my head by myself, like, hello?
Right.
Is anybody in here? And I don't hear anything. I can hear a pin drop. I can effortlessly focus on anything. The pain in my body, the damage that I put myself through all the years of MMA and all the damage and the bad food and the bad stuff and the chemicals I put into my body, I had pain and chronic pain everywhere. I couldn't feel any of it. I felt phenomenal. And yet at the same time, I'm sitting here going, I need to call the nut house. Oh my God, I just had a demon screaming in my head. Are you kidding me? You know, and so like the next day I went to school, and it was, this is how I know what date it was, because I have a schedule, and it was a powerful presentation. It was where we walked up and we did an actual presentation to where we have a PowerPoint and we have to talk in front of everybody. And I was still just completely and totally inside of my head. I could close my eyes and I could feel everything around me for about 50 feet, like literally through people's bodies. And I could see dysfunction inside of them. I could see sickness. And it was just, I was really in a space to where I couldn't make sense of what was going on. And I thought I was going crazy. And when my teacher called me up, he said, Eric, your turn. I went up there. I had my flashcards for my presentation. I don't remember any of it. What I do remember is I got up there and I said, well, you know, despite the fact that I think that I'm crazy, I feel phenomenal. And I took a big, deep breath into my chest. I moved all the chi, closed my eyes, and I opened them, and I started talking. And I got an A+ on that presentation, and I've been able to really connect into the ability to transmit ideas, information, and energy ever since. It's all about just connecting into the frequency of what you're trying to talk about, because when we speak about these things, we're only decoding the energy. That's it. Decoding the energy can take years, and the energy is instantaneous. And so I could get, a million-page volume that suddenly I'm aware of the information that's inside of this. Now I have to write out 1 million pages, So when I speak, I try to connect directly to that energy and allow it to speak through me. That way people can understand directly where it's coming from, and more importantly, how it feels. Because, this is unleashing natural humanity. We are children of God. We are amazing. We are phenomenal. We've been lied to for so long, and it's time to wake up. That's why we're here. And if it wasn't me, it'd be somebody else. I'm just an excuse. I'm a facilitator for the energy. That's it.
What did your family think about this as they saw this transformation?
So they still think I'm crazy. I don't really talk with my dad anymore. My mom, she thought I was nuts. She's a good Christian woman. I was raised in the church, and she tried to do the best that she could with me. She couldn't help me out. I was asking questions that just really you couldn't answer. And then when I became aware of this information, and more importantly, starting to be able to do stuff about it, my mom was about the only one who ever really even gave me the time of day. And still, I could tell how skeptical she was, but I actually just recently worked on her, and she had some chronic gut issues and digestion problems that she couldn't get the pain to go away for the life of her. She'd been on herbs and, dietitians and chiropractic for the past 15 years. And I was able to actually, once we got the energy moving, she could feel the pain moving around inside of her from the space where it was at, shifting it all the way through until we found the meridian to flush it out the body. And it's still not 100%, but she's breathing into it and she's moving the energy through it, and she's actually regenerating herself now. That being said, the rest of my family still thinks I'm crazy, but results are what matter. If everybody thinks you're nuts, but you still bring the results, guess who's right? Okay, well, it's one step at a time, but you've got you've got your mom's foot in the door, though, right? The door is cracked open. Okay. All right. Well, that's, but the other part of it, for them to see you transform, your personality and to see that turn around, surely they must be tripping. Well, they don't really notice anything because, when you have perception of somebody from what you know them as, it doesn't matter what they say. It's only what they do, and they don't really pay attention to what I do. It's only when we speak to each other, they hold a perception of me of who I used to be. And so that's what they project at me. All I can do is just come from where I'm at. and they don't want anything to do with that. So it's okay. I'm really not mad at it, but the thing is, they will start hearing about this work, and my name will come around to them from the people that they know, because it's time. There is an awakening of consciousness, a revolution that is happening, and I'm not the only one pushing it, but you better believe that I'm on the forefront of pushing the techniques that empower all of us, because all of us can do this.
Absolutely. And you can send your dad a link to this show later. That's what you need to do. Our guest tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Our guest tonight, Eric Rains. This is Fade to Black. It's our first show of 2018. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. More with Eric Rains right after this short break. You stay right there.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Happy New Year, everyone. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet, this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Life Change Tea. Starting with their Super Strength Tea, we use Life Change Tea products every single day. All of our staff, friends, family, they're all on the Life Change Tea program. And I take every day Coral Sea, GI Joy. I do the pine bark and moringa drops, and of course the tea every day. Change yourself, help yourself. Life Change Tea. When you go over to the website, just click on the banners. Use the promo code FADER, FADER, and you'll get yourself free shipping. Again, I want to congratulate, before I get back to Eric, I want to congratulate our 3 winners for the next Late Night Podcast Star Contest, courtesy of Tascam Professional. Philip Van Scotter with his show Beyond Black and White, Amy Perry Lane with her show Shards of Reality, and Sam Wurzeldine and his show Reality 2.0. Very excited and happy for them, but I can't wait to hear their first podcast, and we're going to broadcast them right here on the Game Changer Network. Our guest tonight, Eric Rains. And Eric, I wanted to, before we move forward, here we are. This is the first show of 2018, and 2017 was a pretty dark time, a pretty dark year for a lot of different reasons for everybody on planet Earth. I mean, there was things going on all year long. And for those out there that don't understand maybe what's going on with them personally, there's a lot of forces that are feeding off of this darkness, aren't there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's the whole reason why the world is the way that it is. It's not because some people are greedy and they want power over each other. It's because that these systems create depression. They create hopelessness. They create anger. They create fear. They create, division to where we are at each other's throat. This is the whole reason why the world is the way that it is. There is no other reason. This is the topic of topics.
And when we, you and I are talking about it, we understand it, we get it. But there are those out there that just don't understand why they are posting the things that they are, saying the things that they are, or feeling the way that they do. What do you suggest to them to look out for?
The bottom line is that nobody wants to hurt. Nobody wants to be in pain. Nobody wants to feel just awful inside of themselves. And this is the basis that we all need to start actually basing our reactions to everything off of. Does it make you smile or does it make you frown? There's that legend of the Native American legend of the wolf. Everybody has a light wolf and a dark wolf inside of you, and the one that you feed is the one that wins. And this is the exact same thing that we've got going on here. They have to let us know what is going on. They tell us in allegory, they tell us in parable, but they have to let us know what is going on. And they confirm it in the Bible that it's not against powers of men, it's against the powers of principalities. It's the powers of ideas that we have to really guard ourselves against. And when you cleanse out your internal world, when you create good, when you produce more of value to the world, you become a cleaner person inside, not just in the fact that you're producing more, but it literally aligns you to a higher vibrational resonance to where you can access higher and higher levels of chi. Chi is not something that is like an esoteric crouching tiger, hidden dragon thing. This is something that you would just call your basic life force essence, the thing that keeps you alive, that keeps your body animated. When you're dead, the chi, the vital life force essence, is no longer there. And what we're doing is we're cleansing that vital life force essence. This physical reality is completely and totally illusory. Like, if we break down the nuts and bolts of the quantum mechanics of this, we see that the atomic structure of the world is completely and totally hollow. It's 99.999% empty. Why is this not all just like falling into everything? Well, it's a collision of forces. It's a collision of energies. And this physical reality around us is nothing more than a staging ground for the cultivation of the spirit, for the cultivation of the mind. And what you put out into the world around you is what you're going to get back. And so we never really lost the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was, here on Earth the whole entire time. And it was only the fact that we lost the ability to access that resonance, because we can step right back into galactic consciousness. We can connect right directly back into the planet and live in touch, in community with the planet directly, and go right back to that. It's all in the DNA. It's all right there. It's just that we have pulled ourselves so far out of what is natural that everything that we see around us that we think is real is not real. And so when we start to really look at the basis of reality and start to recognize what is truly real and what is not real, you recognize that you are the only thing that you truly know for a fact is real. For everything, for all that you know, like I might be a figment of your imagination. You might be in a coma somewhere. And all that we experience in this reality is nothing more than our brain's interpretation of perception. And who's to say any of it is real? So that right there, in and of itself, makes the fact that you are the only real thing in your universe the priority, and despite the fact that we know we are not the only real things in our universe, because we are collectively co-creating this reality, we are still the only real thing that is the perception in that reality. And so if you're aligned with darkness, if you're aligned with negativity and hate and destruction, this is what you're cultivating, and this is what you're putting out energetically to the universe around you, which is a mirror, and it reflects it right directly back at you. The problem is we live in a society, we live in a system to where we have multidimensional interference that's outside of that 1.3% of visible light, and it's affecting us on these levels to get us to inside of a natural system. We have the light and dark duality, and this side we have the darkness way overbalanced, and so it's almost like a gravity that it pulls people to. Nobody wants to do bad things. Nobody wants to hurt other people, and yet when we're right in the moment, when we're committing these acts, when we're doing these things, it's almost like we're secondarily along for the ride. It's like something else is doing it, because we instinctively know how wrong it is, and yet you still feel that compulsion to do it anyway. You still feel the compulsion for those thoughts to, just rattle around about this. Oh, it's just awful. Got to keep going on that. Mm-hmm. And you never really have a chance to step back away and see the world for what it is, which is truly gorgeous. The Garden of Eden never left. It's here. You have to shift your perspective and shift the energy that you've just perceived. That's it. Because hell's real too. And hell is definitely real. I mean, look at this world. This place is crazy, and it's all about perspective. It's all about deciding to smile instead of frown and then cultivating it.
I was watching an interview, it was last week, of an actor, award-winning, big-time actor, and this, I don't want to give it away, who it was, but this actor said this, because this actor is now aware, right? Now awake, has taken the step into all of this, right? Our world. And this actor said, today I don't have time for negative people. Now, I used to put up with that before. Now, if you even look negative, act negative, say anything negative, you're cut loose. You're not part of my life. I don't have time for you. I'm not here for you. And it was an amazing statement to come from, not only somebody that there's so much ego in Hollywood, right? There's so much that you almost have to play that game, right? You got to play the darkness game to move ahead. But to hear that, I just cut loose, and it reaffirmed for me the way that I try to live my life, which is I just don't have time for negativity because it brings me down. And so is that part of it too as well? You were talking about the mirror, reflecting back and the negative. But if you are negative, you're going to attract negative people around you, and everything is just compounded.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's literally a magnifier. What you project out is what you get back. So if you're walking around thinking about how bad somebody burned you and how much you hate this person, or, oh my God, this is going to happen. Oh, I have to do this, or else this is going to happen. And you're walking around inside of that state, guess what you're going to get? You're going to stay inside of that level, and that's all the universe is going to reflect back to you. But as for that statement about I don't have time for negative people, honestly, my work is geared mostly towards negative people, because it's not about just leaving them to their own devices. It's about giving them tools to recognize how awful being negative feels and what they can do about it.
Right.
Because, the thing about like this whole process here is this is an ascension awakening of a planetary scale. This isn't just some people who are going to be going through this energy. This is everybody. And we're not going to be able to just sit on the sidelines and say, well, they did the work over there. I'm just going to, kind of follow their process. It's like, no, it's a very personal and in-depth process for each and every one of us. And it's our job to be the lighthouses, to be the beacons that shine so brightly that these people who are stuck in this darkness get a whiff of what smells good. They're like, oh,
well,
there's
that's
a whole world over there that doesn't hurt. So, like, really? Okay, let's go check that out.
Yeah, but
and that's what this is all about.
But that's your job. It's not my job. If I go out or anybody else goes out and starts talking to negative people, about their negativity, that you just don't want to get involved in that drama, right?
This is very true.
Yeah. I think it's best to ignore, And what I have found also is once you get out of other people's problems, because negative people want you to be part of their negative world, right? Their negativity, their problems, their issues, their thing, their hate. And you find yourself thinking about somebody else's negative world, right? And once you start to let loose of that and you surround yourself with people that are happy, like you said, are you smiling or not? You find yourself transforming too. It may not be overnight, but after 3, 4, 5, 6 months of that type of cleansing, you're going to look around you and say, my life is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. This is the thing is you want to immerse yourself in the energies that you want to project in your world. So, really kind of step back and take like a timeline, look at yourself and say, who do I want to be 5 years from now? And really look at this. Like, hold this up to something and hold yourself to the highest standards here. And who do you want to be 5 years from now? Knowing what's going on in the world today, where do you want to go? Because we are stepping into an amazing opportunity here in the beginning of 2018. There is a manifestational potential that is phenomenal. What you want to bring into the world right now, if you focus on this and make this your priority, you will see this by the end of this year. This is the energy potentials have gotten to the point to where physical reality is becoming transitory. It's becoming illusory. Things that were solid yesterday aren't the same anymore.
That's right.
Case in point, all my electronics, I just tried to transfer my domain name over, and the whole thing shifted to a website I've never even seen before in my life. I still got all my information there, and I can still transfer my domain name for the website, but it's not on the original one that I did it for. And then, even with my phone, I'm getting people aren't getting phone calls. They aren't getting the right call or the right line. Even you got a hold of somebody when you were trying to get a hold of me.
That was
everything
bizarre.
Is shifting right now. It's very transitory.
Hold on, Eric. Let me explain what happened today with Eric and I, because, so I call Eric and I get a woman who was obviously in a bar. I could hear the music in the background. I could hear the glasses clanking, and I hear hello. And I said, may I speak to Eric, please? Click. I was like, wow, that's weird. So I check the number. It's right. I call Eric back. He picks up, and it's him. I'm like, dude, what's going on with your phone? And that, and I'm, and I'm double checking the number, and it's right. And you started to, and I cut you off. I was like, dude, let's just ignore that. That was strange. Let's move on here. But that was bizarre, man. That really happened. I have a question for you that just came in. Jimmy, please ask Eric if he knows if there has been a shift in the quality of light emitted by our sun away from full golden light to a lesser spectrum of white light. If so, how does this affect our human potential and the quality of our loosh?
Amazing question. Perfect. Okay, so the golden frequency, this is the energy that I use. The golden sun that we always think of when we were younger, when we were drawing it in the pictures, you know, it was always gold. If you look at it right now, it's becoming much, much more intense. It's not that it's becoming a lesser quality of spectrum. What's happening is we're actually reaching frequencies that go beyond the golden frequency. There is a lady named Magenta Pixie, I believe her name is, who she put out this channeling not too long ago that I personally don't listen to very many of these, but this one called to me. And what she was saying was that the golden frequency light codes have been held long enough to the point that we can access the silver ray. As soon as she said this, I started making chi balls with the energy, and I started crackling this brilliant platinum silver electricity through it, and the work became much, much more intense. I mean, overnight, it became much, much stronger. It's not that we're getting into a lesser range of frequency, it's a lesser range of spectrum. If anything, it's evolving. It's becoming much, much more intense. And then we've also got the other things that we need to pay attention to, which is all the spraying in the skies. We've got all kinds of barium, strontium, aluminum, whenever they're spraying those the chemtrails out in the sky, that it causes these rays to not just be refracted and messed up and thrown in different directions with the bending of the light, but there is an electronic and a plasma interference that this whole entire cloud level, this aluminum connection, the metal connection in the atmosphere, you can hyperionize it with the plasma, and it becomes there's a whole bunch of things that they can do with it. Surveillance, attacking people. They can use it to create pockets where you can put entities into physical space. I mean, all kinds of different things happen with this. But more importantly right now, it's to cut off the frequencies coming into the planet right now. The sun is a conduit that's directly connected to the galactic central sun, and it's connected to every star in the spiral arm that goes all the way up to the galactic central sun. And this is one of the reasons why the interference here is affecting so much, because it's not just, you know, one part in the galaxy, it's affecting the entire galaxy. It's just like trying to say, well, that's only one part of your liver that's not working. You'll be fine, you know, and that's kind of what's happening with our system right now, is because this cancerous growth of this false darkness that has taken this dualistic concept of yin and yang, light and dark, and overbalanced the darkness into atrocity for the sake of atrocity. They're trying to keep us from waking up as hard as they can. They're pulling out every stopgap measure imaginable right now, and yet we are still waking up in mass, and we're hitting levels of resonance and consciousness that were almost impossible to hit even 1,000 years ago when this stuff wasn't at that level. They can't hold on anymore. Their time is up. Their batteries are running out. We have unlimited energy. They don't. And the more of us who stop giving them fuel, the more of us who start chasing the smile instead of the frown, the less energy that they have, and the more the system destructs on itself. It literally implodes and leaves nothing but filaments of brilliant light and connection that you can literally feel once they're there. Like, these things aren't subjects and concepts that are all illusory or just in the mind. Like, when you feel these energies shift, this is something that you go from being in pain to suddenly you don't have pain anymore. You know, you go from a state of anxiety, a state of depression, a state of fear, and suddenly you feel amazing. You feel centered. You feel hopeful. You feel happy. You know, you go from a state of a nonstop chattering mind, constantly cluttered with all the detritus, you know, flotsam and jetsam of everyday life,
right,
and suddenly it's completely clear, able to focus on anything, you know, and like, that's what this is all about. This is a revolution in consciousness on a level that none of us had ever thought was even possible. What we thought was coming, it's got nothing on the majesty that we've got on our way. Like, this, even us in the know, we have no idea how awesome this is going to be.
How close were we to this tipping the other way?
That's a good question, and I've never actually tuned into that before, simply for the fact that I never wanted to know how close we were.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But,
okay, so, like, this is literally a quotient of, like, you remember when Al Gore and Bush were doing the election, how it came down to, like, a few hundred people in Florida?
The Chads.
Yeah.
The hanging Chads. Yes.
It's right around like that level right there. It comes down to a handful of people. This is probably like a community in the Amazon that hasn't, you know, pulled away from their ancestral roots for a long time that pulled this through.
Because we've all, you know, I've spoken to David Wilcock about, you know, the loosh and the feeding on negative energy, and this is what they need. They need that from us. And, you know, and you conceptualize that idea long enough, and you realize that's exactly what's going on. And if it would have just tipped the other way, the darkness would have enveloped. It could have been a really, really bad situation. But I think that we've taken the turn in the other in the other direction.
Well, that's the thing about the universe being infinite, is there is every possibility that has ever happened is happening right in this point in time. And yeah, there are realities where this tipping point did happen, but you can choose your timeline, and you choose your timeline by choosing what you align yourself with and what you project into the world around you. So there are probably people who are still walking next to us right now who are experiencing the timeline where the dark is fully taken over. And there's probably people around walking right next to us who live in a world that it's almost bliss on earth right now. It's all about the shift. Everything is becoming so illusory and transitory right now. But you notice when you start aligning yourself with light, when you start aligning yourself with feeling good, with being happy, with serving other people, with being contributionism, society minded, you start to see that. You start to literally watch it be born in the world around you, and you watch the seeds that are going to catch the collapse of the old world, literally grassroots around you standing up. It's a phenomenal thing to watch. Like, I can't truly wrap my mind around the honor of the position that we have to even be watching this from this level right here. You know, there are trillions of beings in the universe who would give anything to be an unconscious person, not awake, going through this process right now. And yet here we are watching it from the front row. It's a very honored and privileged position that we all have.
Do you watch the news?
No.
Exactly. What about like I didn't know that answer. What about your children? The same thing. The control of the mass media knows it's a science. They know exactly what to do to mess with the mind. What about your children?
So I have 5 kids. My oldest just turned 12 the day after Christmas, and then I've got an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old who just turned 1 on Christmas. So I've got quite a range of age spectrum right here, and I've got a few, I guess you could say, understandings of what are coming down the road for them as they get older and they turn into teenagers. But pretty much the only thing that I can do right now is show them what I know, give them tools of their own, and let them make their own decisions, because the society programming, the environmental programming, the energetic and sociological programming, I can't completely and totally, shelter them from that. They go to public school. They have to interact with these energies. The only thing that I can do is be there for them when they screw up and give them the tools that they need to understand this, because this is a very, very tough situation that my kids actually live in. Being aware of these types of systems and living in the unconscious world in a much more direct way than I do. There's been a few days where I haven't, 3 or 4 days in a row where I haven't left the house and didn't even notice it because I work from home, So, it's one of those things that I have a very controlled environment with what I let into it. And my kids, they really don't. They have the controls that we have here. They definitely understand why we don't allow them to watch things like the news or anything like that. But, they have their tablets, they have their technology, and they have their ability to explore the world, because we're not creating little copies of ourselves. We're not creating little mini-me's. We're giving little people who just have not enough experience the knowledge and the tools that they need to make competent decisions to move forward into their lives. Because Sierra, my fiance, she's absolutely she's phenomenal with the children. I'm so blessed to have her in my life, and she literally just breaks it down to the simplest levels. And she says stuff like, I'm going to be with my kids for, on a normal life scale, not counting the fact that we plan on living hundreds of years, but in a normal life scale, I'm going to be an adult with my children far longer than I am going to be with them children. They've only got 18 years as kids, and we've got 50 plus years as adults together. I want to make sure that my kids want to be around me, that they understand that I am here to help them, and I'm not trying to force them into a little box, And so there's all kinds of, things we could get into with raising children and whatnot in this unconscious society. But the bottom line is, all you can do is be an example. All you can do is show your children the times that you've screwed up and where you've really just ate dirt hard, where you messed up so bad, and show them exactly what you did, how it led up to that point, and let them understand the experience that you've gained up until that point. The only thing that they can do is take that knowledge and then go and mess up on their own and start making their own patterns of growth, and just be there for them when they screw up and just be an everlasting cheerleader in their corner. That's really all you can do.
That's all you can do. I'm a professional at that. I've certainly give them an example on how to screw up. I've definitely done that. Eric, stay right there. Our guest tonight, Eric Rains. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. There's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Guest tonight, Eric Rains, first show of 2018. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Just use the promo code F2B blend and you're going to get 15% off on your order. Click on the banners over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Now, Eric, December 16th, 2017, the big day of disclosure all around the world. What'd you think?
So first things first, we got to recognize that what's happening here with all these mainstream guys is partial disclosure narrative. That being said, we have something seriously to celebrate about right here. This is concrete evidence that you can point to anybody and say, you remember all the stuff that I've been talking to you about? Look, they're starting to come out with this right here. Just like they've always been doing, they're still lying to us. What we need to go after is this, and this. Here's the door. It's opening. Check it out. We have got a direct line right to the heart of this, because as soon as we start asking questions about this, when they start coming forward with tech, when they start coming forward with things that they've been doing, immediately we need to jump on, well, how's this powered? Well, how long has this been going on? We need to demand these answers, because they're trying to push partial disclosure right now, but they are backed up into the ropes, man. They are on the corners. They're taking hooks, uppercuts from every last direction. They're finally like, oh, Antarctica,
right.
UFOs. It's time to push as hard as we can and blow this wide open. We've got such an amazing opportunity. Let's punch it.
Now, what about those out there that talk about benevolent and malevolent ETs, light and dark forces battling each other, and that this part of disclosure is a warm-up for a false flag, an alien invasion, or we've got to arm up against ET and the military-industrial complexes behind this? There's always a negative spin to the story, although that could play out that way too as well. I don't have a crystal ball. But what do you think about these light and dark alien forces?
So I deal every day with negative extraterrestrials. Despite the fact that they don't have bodies, they're multidimensional and they live in the astral realms, they are not from here, and they are negative. They are very malevolent. They're eating people's souls for food, And so there are negative beings, there are malevolent beings that are here. Now, as for physical beings, I have only had one actual contact experience, and even then, I don't think it was physical. I think it was astral. And it was a dream that when I came back from it, I was truly, truly there. And that's the only contact experience I have with benevolent contact on that level. I've had contact with so many malevolent creatures, it's ridiculous. I can't even tell you how many. I've worked on 4,000 plus people to date, and each one of them had something that was connected into this system that usually led me into one, if not many, of these types of creatures here. So what I'm seeing right now is there's an obfuscation of the multidimensional nature of this. There's an obfuscation of the etheric nature of this, and they're trying to bring it back to the nuts and bolts physicality. I think they can control the agenda for everything that's physical. I think anything that, say, for instance, we have an extraterrestrial race that shows up and it's attacking us and it's all in physical craft, I think this is human. You can't replicate these light ships. You can't replicate these consciousnesses of light. They aren't something that you can use Project Blue Beam to, project holograms into the sky and replicate these. These are something that come with not just light and sound and movement, but they come with direct connection to the energy, which you can feel. It's something that is a very benevolent, open sense of knowing and lovingness to these types of creatures that are on this level right here. And so you can't really say that there's nothing but positive beings out there, and you can't really say there's nothing but negative beings out there, because they're trying to put it all into the nuts and bolts physical reality. And so when we understand how much bigger this actually goes and how high up the food chain really is on this level, then we can start saying, okay, well, once we're here, we can still break it apart, because you can't have one polarity no matter what. We are a dualistic world, and everybody has free will, so you are going to find polarity. And so even it's a as above, so below type of a thing. Just because it's here on the planet, we have discord and duality, doesn't mean that it's not everywhere else in the universe as well. And so when we're looking at these extraterrestrials and beings outside of our universe, outside of our planet, we can't just say that they're all positive and they're all negative, simply for the fact that we can't say all people are positive or all negative. It's all based on the individual and their personal choices that led up to that point in time. It's all about the personality, not the general. It's like trying to say that all Jews are good at math, like it's like
Whoa.
a stereotype. It really truly is when you try to put it out there like that and say, well, this is all that way. Only Siths deal in absolutes.
Now, were you up at Eclipse when we were up at Mount Shasta together? Did you come and hang out with us when we were doing the night vision? Were you up there?
I was actually at the campfire next to where you guys were going. I never actually wanted to go over there. I was doing the whole fire circle thing. We had some music going, and we were getting some really good energy going.
Yeah, I was.
But I
over
heard
there.
you guys absolutely going bonkers, and I kept on looking to the sky whenever I heard you guys yelling over there. And I saw so much stuff. Like the laser pointers were pointing them out. We had so many craft flying by. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty nutty. I'll admit, I went over and hung out with Eric over at the fire circle and was grooving on the music. The whole, what was funny about that? The fire circle. It was all of the cooks and the chefs, right, from the catering service. They were all musicians. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Now, anyway, when you see that stuff going down like we did that night up at Shasta, who is that? Who do you think that is? And have you ever tried to communicate with what is going on up there?
So every time I've tried to communicate with them, especially in a high vibratory level like Shasta, where there's so much activity in the area, I always end up getting mixed signals. I think that it's actually a highway type of a thing. Like, I think there's a portal or there's something to do with the atmosphere, however many miles up above the planet, that the mountain causes some type of a slipstream so people can, portal away from the planet into the sun and then use that as a gateway into the rest of the galaxy. And so when I tune into those right there, there's a few of them that when they move, that they're bright and you can tell that they're arcing. They're not satellites and they're shifting in light quality, but there's almost like a coldness to them. They feel very metallic and robotic and very like androidish to me. They feel very cold, and I really don't enjoy looking at those ones at all. And when they start scanning you, you can feel them. It's a very creepy type of a situation. It'll feel. It's all of a sudden it's like somebody's standing behind you, like trying to breathe on your neck or something like that. The other ones, though, one of my favorite ones I saw actually up at Castle Lake last year, or not last year, this summer. It was a brilliant orangish red light that was moving in all of these spastic up, down, left, and right patterns. And when I connected into it, it just felt like somebody who was like lost and trying to figure out their directions. And as soon as I was like, hey, what's going on? It was like, oh, thank God. Can you tell me where blah, 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 blah. And like, I kind of like, well, the sun's that way. And then it was gone. So, you can communicate with them. Honestly, I don't know. These are things that I know myself, I know my internal universe, I know that I can communicate with things outside of it, but until I have somebody come down and say, hey, this is who I am, I couldn't tell you for sure. This is all conjecture. I'm not one of those people on the inside like this. I'm pretty much one of the people on the outside drilling to the inside through my consciousness. Yeah,
I think you're right on that point. We have to consider the way that we are exploring our own solar system, right? Which is, we send out, probes, satellites to orbit and possibly land on, the different planets here and moons and asteroids and what have you. But we don't have human beings on them. We can't, right? And so why wouldn't the other intelligences around the universe and the Milky Way send the exact same stuff here? Right. So you're right about that android feeling, the robot feeling, because I often wonder, is there somebody on that? Is there somebody piloting that? Or is it just checking us out? And that's the way that's human nature. That's the way that we do things. Why wouldn't ET be doing the same thing with us? I have a question for you here. This is, has Mr. Rains ever visualized the various timelines as ribbons of different colored light, the color denoting the happiness of the other timeline?
So I don't see in color. I see in shades of intensity and full spectrum energy. And so when I see these types of timelines, like
stop,
go ahead.
Stop right there. Explain that. You don't see in color. You see shades of intensity. Yeah. Explain that for
This is really kind of hard to explain. So here, let me get out my Etch-a-Sketch and try to paint you a symphony here.
Sure.
Okay, so when I feel energies that are connecting into different things. So say, for instance, that there's interference happening with somebody and they're noticing it as disorientation. They feel like they're in the wrong place at the wrong time and they're just not connecting in with their body. And I go and I look at it and I see that their timeline has been manipulated. It's been kind of rolled to the side and there's just like a whole bunch of buffering, blocking energy in there. When I go and connect that in, it's almost like if you were to see a pump, like when it starts up and it starts pulling water through the hose, it's empty to begin with. It's flat. And as it starts pulling water up and through, it becomes full. It becomes vibrant. I feel the energy becoming to fill the conduit, and it opens up and it becomes brighter. And so I can see color if I tone down into the individual spectrum, but I mean, that's like going super, super micro for me. I look at things at the full spectrum level. That way I can see them as they are and not what I want them to be inside of the filters that I'm looking at them through. And so when I'm looking at these types of things and I feel like a timeline that has been delineated from its origination point and I see where the blockage is, what I'll do is I'll make the hard part where the blockage is that's rolling it over dissolve. I'll clean that out and then I'll gently push it over and I'll feel the flow beginning to connect right back in. And so, yes, they do look like multi-hued ribbons when you're tapping into multi-dimensionality, but it's all about the frequency of the consciousness in that. And so when we get into multidimensionality and start recognizing that you are literally billions, if not trillions of people operating at the same exact time, that's how we start understanding the concept of oneness. And so this multi-hued fractional ribbon type reality, as the timelines delineate from the major I guess you could say the main course of the timeline, and they ribbon out, they always arc back in, because these ribbons are where you pull away from the natural pathway, where you pull away from what is supposed to be happening, whether that's you doing it through free will or things interfering with you causing it to happen. But it's all just like, I mean, honestly, I really wish I was a better graphic designer or an artist so I could just kind of get some aspect of what I see in these levels across to people, because like I see shapes and colors and things that I can't really describe because they just don't even exist unless you have an understanding of multidimensional nature to begin with. So yes and no to your answer.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But when you are looking at a timeline, because that's an interesting question, then what would for you delineate, you know, a happy timeline or something that may just not be as joyous?
So it's like it echoes with love, with laughter, with light, with movement, with vibrancy. It's like the difference between a plant that was grown in an organic, natural situation compared to like a factory farm plant. You know, they are the same thing, but you can see the vibrancy is so much less. It's so much more faded out inside of a timeline where they're just getting sucked loose. You know, they're getting all this emotional stagnancy ripped out and popped up so that they can get fed on and just be in this torment. And yet on the other hand, that exact same person can be in the exact same place at the exact same time, doing the exact same thing. And it's the perspective. It's the shift in recognizing that they want to live in heaven. They want to create a Garden of Eden for themselves instead of living in hell. And that's all it is the shift in perspective and the acceptance that, hey, you know what? I'm a child of God. Who am I not to be amazing? Who am I not to be awesome? Who am I not to be happy? It's my right. That's why I'm here. You know, like none of this is the reason why I'm here. I'm not here to pay bills, 9-to-5 jobs and, you know, until I die. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make connections. I'm here to explore consciousness. I'm here to ask the big questions. Why am I here? You know, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of humanity? Where are we going as a species? That's what we're here for. And that's what this shift is all about. It's a revolution in consciousness, delineating us away from these structures of the parasitic construct of this buy, consume, fear, you're not good enough. Oh, but here, you know, you need to work so that you can buy this, although you're not going to be able to enjoy it because you're going to be at work when you finally have it. So just do it anyway, you know? And so we're starting to move away from these types of consciousnesses here into the space to where we're starting to look into creating something permanent, something that can be passed down from generation to generation to generation, that your children, your children's 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 children can look back and say, that was our forefather right there. That was our matriarch. That was our patriarch. That was the person who said, I will build this right now. And it started off so simple, so effortless, Nothing more than a plant in the ground, and yet look at it now. This is a paradise for us, and we can live here, and it provides for us indefinitely. We don't have to work. We don't have to do anything other than cultivate ourselves, cultivate our consciousness, dive into the arts, dive into the hobbies, dive into the passion of who we truly are. And this is where humanity will then step into those ascension processes. These are the fertile grounds that are being grown for those star seeds to turn into the star blossoms, the star plants, and then eventually create seeds of our own and then go propagate that on other planets. It's all about the process. That's what we're doing.
Now, if we cleanse, no more parasites, no more dark entities, it's all good, right? And we achieve that. Ultimately, is that a good thing?
Definitely, because we'll go right back to duality. We'll go right back to the natural systems of yin and yang, light and dark, to where the dark is a whetstone that shows us exactly what we do not prefer in our lifetimes. And then once we have fully consciously integrated the systems of duality and understand the different sides of the coin, that's where we transcend into unity consciousness. And unity consciousness isn't a gigantic group think tank Borg type energy. This is where you integrate yourself through space and time, these multidimensional functions of you coming back into the one. This is oneness. And this is what we're all headed towards right here. And as soon as we can gather the vastness of our consciousness, which is schismed into billions, if not trillions of aspects, into one space, one time, one reality, that's when, we'll step into that Christ consciousness ascension energy. That's what it's all about, is just going to that next step, which honestly, I don't think that's the end. I think that's the very beginning. And we're just kind of figuring out the foundations for what we need to do over there right here.
Now, I'm going to push the envelope a little bit with you. Isn't some negativity a good thing? Can it be fun? If you know what I'm saying? If we go all good, that's kind of boring. And do we?
This is,
and you know exactly what I'm saying.
This is exactly why.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, and also we do need something to fight the good fight for. If it all goes away, will it eventually come back anyway?
Well, at that point in time, we wouldn't be fighting, quote, a good fight. We would be developing ourselves to the point of being as, I guess you could say, as holy as possible that the temple for the Holy Spirit should be. And that would be the planetary goal at that point in time. But this is exactly what duality is for. This is exactly why it is here, to show you exactly what you do not prefer and what you do prefer in your life. And you cannot go through an awakening process without understanding how dark the darkness is, because you can't truly appreciate the light without hitting the bottom, and that was the process that I went through that was accelerated. It was such a buildup of darkness that it shoved me through this process faster than is normally supposed to happen. And this is why all of us starseeds came in here, because we've already done this before. We know how this is supposed to happen, so we become a part of the system, and then we figure out how to dismantle it from the inside out. That's why we're here.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things to say is, if I had all the money in the world, I would go back to school and I would be in college until my last breath. Because I appreciate, that's what I would do. And as good and wholesome as that is, and perfect as that is, I would still probably go, man, that's 6 months of classes. I'm going to skip school today, right? I'm going to go out tonight and tie one on. You know what I mean? You're never going to escape it. I don't think you can.
Well, you can't, but you can shift the parameters. My vices are moving energy through my body because I'm absolutely addicted to how amazing it feels. My vices are helping people get out from underneath these constructs and feel their own power and step into their own guruhood for the first time. This makes me feel good. This makes me feel truly alive. This is my passion. This is why I am here. And, don't get me wrong. If I want to go tie one on, it's my choice. But honestly, I don't feel like I'm called to that. It's something that, I might have a glass of wine every once in a while, but I truly feel that my purpose is so much more than just losing my sense of self inside myself. And,
Right.
you know, this is coming from an ex-alcoholic who I couldn't wake up in the morning when I was like 23 without taking a few shots of whiskey. Otherwise I'd start shaking, you know?
Wow.
I went to the ends, man. I did it as hard and as fast as I could. And I recognized that, hey, I did more than enough to last me the rest of my life. I don't need this anymore.
Right.
I know what I want. And it's all about the self-discipline. You know, the more you stay on top of yourself and say, hey, I don't prefer that. I'm going to interject this with what I do prefer. And the more you stay on top of that, the more you literally shift your life into something that is, your vices become wholesome. Your vices become good for you. It's, and so yes, it is. I'm still kind of selfish in the fact that I help people out like this because it makes me feel so good to do it. But, you know, it's all about shifting the parameters. It's shifting the alignment of what you're trying to satisfy inside of yourself.
Yeah, and I've always found it interesting because if there's one quote that people can quote me on is, you know, I walk around with flowers hanging out of my pockets, right? That's how as jaded and as stupid as that may sound to a lot of people, that's my effort, right? That's what I try to do. I may not succeed every day. I'm not perfect, but that is my goal. But the other part about all of this, Eric, is if we made everything perfect, everything got washed clean, there is, it's like the hero's journey. The darkness will find a way to work its way, you know how the legends go, right? We've had peace for 1,000 years, but the darkness is coming. You know what I mean? So I just don't know if we can ever defeat it completely. But when we do get to that point, and I feel that it's moving now, how will we know? You know, how will we know?
We don't need to defeat it. We need to integrate it. We need to take the darkness inside of ourselves and shine the light on it, and don't pull any punches. You know, look at yourself in a very brutal light and hold yourself up in this light of observation and say, I do not prefer this.
Right.
I am going to work to change this into something that I do prefer. I'm going to take this weakness and I'm going to turn it into a strength. And when you start doing this, you'll know. It's not something that, you're going to see physical results from the outside because, like I said, the illusory outside is only a distraction. The real world, the real battle is in the hearts of men. It's the powers and the principalities. And when you wake up one day and you suddenly do not feel the temptation to, you know, do whatever it is that you've been feeling that temptation to do every single day of your life that's a predatory or a service to self intent, and you wake up and you just feel this overwhelming sense of relief and this overwhelming sense of joy and excitement, that right there is something to pay attention to much more than any disclosure we see outside. When you start seeing these social groups that have been deliberately divisioned away from each other, and like the neo-Nazis, the Jews, the black people, the white people, the Mexicans, you know, these racial divides, these societal divides, the rich people, the poor people, the middle class, you know, these cultural divides of first world, second world, and third world countries. When you see these barriers that have held us all inside of our strictures and boxes suddenly dissolving, and you see people genuinely interacting with each other on a, I wouldn't say a friendly observational state, but more along the lines of, hey, there was something there, but it no longer is. That right there is going to be the day when things start moving very, very quickly. And we're rapidly getting to that. People are noticing this in much smaller pockets than what I'm talking about. And it is happening all around the world in the microcosm. It's priming the collective consciousness for this to take over. And yes, we are going to see some craziness happen. We are going to see some pushback from the dark. You can't just shut them down like this. They've been here for so long, and they're going to fight. They're going to fight like crazy. But our job through this process is to be these beacons of light, to be the stillness in the storm, to be the rock in the ocean of this turbulence, and just shine love, shine compassion and understanding, and stay away from, you know, I told you so, and be like, look, here's the information that you need.
That's
It's
exactly
okay.
it.
We're here.
Yep. That's exactly it. Let's take a break, and when we come back, Eric, I want you to take the audience through some exercises, how to recognize, and some things that they can do to help themselves through this growth and awareness. This is Fade to Black.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a teacher, Eric Rains. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Eric Rains. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by New Pharma, GNU Pharma. Just click on the banner over at JimmyChurchRadio.com and it'll take you straight over to their site where you can read about all of the science behind New Pharma. The promo code is easy. It's F2B, F2B. You will get 33% off of your order. New Pharma. You've got to do the foundation. Start there. The foundation, the pills or capsules or drops. Absolutely amazing. Now, Eric, I was observing you for 3 days. So was everybody else. And I watched as you spoke to the audience and you had them go through these exercises. And I was yelling from the back. I know you heard me, woohoo, because it was pretty cool to see everybody go through this and practice this. And I also watched you over on your table to the left of where I was, and watching you, the way that your hands a lot of the times are above somebody's body. And I'm watching like lightning bolts come out, right? You were like the wizard in Carlos Castaneda. And I'm watching everybody react and stand up and loosen up and walk around, and I could see this transformation in them. So take the audience through some of these exercises that I watched you do. It was truly amazing. You are a teacher.
Oh, well, thank you. I really enjoy being able to do this because it's as simple as the fact that everybody can do this. And if you can't do this, it's because you're blocked and you need to keep working on it until you can. It's simple. Anybody can do this. All you have to do is try. So the basis of moving chi through the body, the very keystone skill on moving energy through the body, is to recognize that blood is synonymous with chi. Chi is synonymous with blood. If we're going to move the blood through the body, we're going to move the chi through the body. And if we move the chi through the body, we're also moving the blood. This is how we go and clean out areas inside of the body, flush things loose, get new stuff in, rebuild it, and take out old stuff and toxicity. Now, in order to move the blood through the body, we have to consciously recognize how to shift it. And this is nothing more than just being aware. And so what I use is the breath to move the energy inside the body. And you can use, any method that you prefer as long as you get the sensation of movement and flow. And so what I want everybody to do is just to, as they take a deep breath in, just feel the air coming in through the nose, through the mouth, and just really feel as it comes in through the sinuses, the trachea of the throat, and down into the lungs, and try to tune in to the sensation of the movement of the wind as it comes in through the face, and then how it leaves warmer and wetter, out through the mouth, out through the nose. Just deep, relaxing inhalations, simple release of an exhale. Now, the inhale, you want to release the stomach, so it's a full inhalation from the abdomen, all the way from the abdomen to the lower chest to the upper chest, and on the exhale, just release it. And this is what it sounds like if you put it to actual noise.
Right.
It's nothing more than a release of the oxygen. No pushing, just letting it drain out, then filling it back up. And this is where you want to be with this movement. And just feel the breath. Now what we're going to recognize is that as you're breathing in the air around you, this atomic structure, if you break it down with the consciousness, you can turn it into energy. And I want you to recognize as you inhale energy into your body, it powers you through the oxygen, but it has a multidimensional and etheric function as well. Focusing on the hand, I want you to take a big, deep breath, allowing the oxygen and the minerals, the oxygen in the air to go through the face and the lungs, right down through the arm into the hand with the inhalation, filling the arm up, filling the blood all the way through into the hand. And on the exhale, relax and just keep pumping. Inhale into the hand and relax.
Interesting.
And the more you do this, the stronger it gets. And you're kind of feeling like tingling and movement inside your hand right now, aren't you, Jimmy?
Yep. Interesting.
This is the chi. This is how I do my work right here. So let's go ahead and take this a little bit more complex. Let's go ahead and take both of the hands and let's point them at each other, almost like you're holding onto a basketball right in front of the solar plexus level. Make sure that the elbows and the shoulders don't have any sharp bends in them, so kind of hold it loosely in front of you. And start breathing into both of the hands. Just like you were breathing into one, let's breathe into two.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Right.
Now, what I want you to do is almost like you've got a ball in between your hands. Try to compress your hands together ever so gently, maybe a half an inch, and then just work back and forth there. And you'll feel a pressure pushing against the other palm.
Right.
You can actually feel all the way around this. Go ahead and feel the top, the bottom.
You can. And I was going to mention this about 30 seconds ago, and then you said it. But you can feel it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is 100% real stuff. This is something that, despite the fact that you can't see it, you can feel this, and you can feel this very clearly.
Absolutely.
Now, the difference between this right here, which is using your vital life force essence to create a ball of magnetism, this is not how I do my energy work. This is how I move energy through me, and I create orbs, and I create fields, and I use the hands to direct everything. But it's all about the full spectrum energy. So what I want you guys to do is don't think about it. Take a deep breath right into the center of this orb and spark it just like the sun. Brilliant golden orb right inside of your hands. Oh, wow. There's so many of you doing this right now. This is so cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching Twitter. It's pretty funny.
See, now what's happening is immediately, as soon as you light up the light, see how it starts shining outwards? See how you become much more tingly? Now go ahead, and this is a 3-part process here. You're going to relax and inhale into the chest as you blossom open the chest and hug the energy into the chest. So we're pulling the orb into the heart space. Deep breath in. Exhale, push it out through the arms, the legs, and the head. And just feel.
Wow. And when
you notice how suddenly you're more quiet, pain-free, everything feels better?
Yeah, and it's bad for radio, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And see, and this is the other thing. When I mentioned earlier, when I would watch you work with people, and I was, made that joke about the metaphor with the lightning bolts coming out of your hands, but that's exactly what's going on, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And the deeper you go into using these frequencies, the more spectrums that you can start accessing. So what I just showed you guys how to create right there, that orb of sunlight, that's the foundation. You can start adding things to that like electricity and magnetism, creating, full frequency electromagnetism. You can put gravity in there. You can put vacuum energy in there. You can put all kinds of different things into this energy, and then you can use that to manipulate the world around you and find things that are hiding, things that are stuck behind the energies that you can't see.
Very interesting. And I have noticed when you do this that nobody, okay, look, this is for the audience. This isn't for Eric. Your client is more than likely face down, right? If they can't see you and their eyes are closed, they don't know where your hands are above their body. But I can see them reacting to it. That's what I'm referring to here. That is pretty trippy. And when you have somebody doing this for the first time, that is they're experiencing this movement up, finding the meridians and moving stuff through the body, and they don't even know where your hands are. They know where your hands are, but they can't see it. Right? Am I explaining this correctly?
Oh, you're explaining it. You're nailing it right on the head.
Right.
The chi, when you begin to open the meridian flow, it's not just the energy flows stronger, the blood flow flows stronger. Things that are stuck with stagnant pockets of blood and toxicity, they open up. Suddenly things that have been hurting for a long time suddenly release. The muscle memory lets go, and you have way more flow through the area. It's not just an energetic function. You literally feel much better physically.
Now, what if somebody has a blood disorder, something physical?
So I actually have not worked with anybody who had a legitimate blood disorder that was lab confirmed and lab tested. I've worked with a bunch of people who had the impression that their blood was not up to par, and they weren't having all the proteins and the pretty much the structure that the blood needs to function correctly inside of the body.
Right.
And by going into the bone marrow and rejuvenating the bone marrow, you can actually get to the point to where very strong, powerful, platelet-rich blood is created from the bone marrow. And it's not that you have weak blood. It's not that you have a blood disorder. It's that you aren't creating blood that's as strong as it's supposed to be. And so we need to figure out why that's not happening. It's just like traditional Chinese medicine. We don't go into the lungs and eliminate the pneumonia bacteria. We find out why you allowed your immune system to get so degraded to the point that the pneumonia was able to come in and take over to begin with. We find the cause, we take care of the cause, the pneumonia's gone.
How long how long does somebody have to go through this process? Is there a maintenance program that they would continue daily with?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So the work every day is absolutely crucial when you start doing this, because if you're just doing this and you're getting into it and you're not really recognizing what's happening and you're just kind of doing this on a whimsy, you'll notice some very, very interesting things start to happen in your body. But as soon as you stop doing these things every day, and I mean, it's not even like you have to, spend 2 or 3 hours every day doing this. Like, you can literally leave the foot in the door with just 5 or 10 minutes a day. And then, I don't want to do anything today. I'm rushed for time. Let's just do this breathing right here, and then I'll really hit it tomorrow, that kind of a thing. And you can do this no problem whatsoever. But once you get your foot in the door and the energy is open, the problem is that you start to become bright. You become a target. They try to shut you down. And so it's all about just recognizing that you are going to have some interference. There's some things that are probably going to frustrate you. There's some things that are probably going to interfere with you. Your job is to stay in a state of constantly trying to transmute these things as they come up. This energy that you're breathing through the body, it isn't just on a physical level. This affects every level: the etheric, the multidimensional, the mind, the body, the spirit. You can breathe into emotions that are stagnant. Say, for instance, that you got somebody that you really just can't stand, and every time that they're around you, you just feel revulsed by them. You can breathe directly into that emotion through the filter of the smile on your face and echo a laugh into it and destructure the whole entire stagnant emotion and drain it out the body. It's all about just recognizing that you have lived in a world where everything that you thought was real is not real. And there is so much work and awareness that we need to gain in order to even live inside of this reality. And so it's all about just, it becomes fun. You literally start leveling yourself up. You gain so much experience that, boom, you burst into a whole different level of awareness that has a whole new set of questions, a whole new pathway of understanding, and a whole new set of skills that you have to start from the beginning and work with, just like you did with the Qi movement to begin with. It didn't feel strong. It didn't feel clear to begin with, but the more you use it, the more coherent it gets until you do what I do, and like I keep telling people, it's all about just putting the time in. It's all about just doing the work, because I'm not special. I'm not a guru. I'm not a messiah. I'm just some guy who happened to be lucky enough to have the energetic sensitivity and the wherewithal to recognize that these skills and these techniques that I was doing made me feel really good, and I wanted to feel even better. That was it. That was my whole motivating factor in this, and it has literally allowed me to transform myself from the ground up. I am not the same person than I was just 5 years ago. I'm a completely and totally different person, but like I said, it's not like a walk-in scenario. It was me taking a look at my life, taking a look at my personality, a look at my internal world, and saying, I can't do this anymore. This is not who I am. I am not here to be this angry, pissed off, withdrawn person. I am here to enjoy myself in whatever manner that entails. And as long as I don't hurt anybody, I should be able to enjoy myself and have as much fun as possible with no restrictions inside of myself, because I'm the only one restricting myself from being happy. And it's all about just saying, hey, this does not serve me, and working on it. And, you do that 30 times and suddenly you're a completely different person. So it's one step after the next.
What about the difference between a parasite or some kind of implant or dark entity and a walk-in?
So I've heard of negative walk-ins before, and these honestly sound like possessions to me. All of a sudden there is a consciousness that is pushing through, that is taking over, and you can feel yourself getting crushed out of the body. I think this is actually something that kills quite a few people every year, and we don't really recognize it. And it's not that their physical body dies, but you'll notice people will completely and totally have a massive change. They will be one person, and then you won't see them for a couple of years, and then there's just a different person looking out from behind their eyes. Those are actually pretty rare. Thank God. That's some pretty crazy stuff when you run into that. Now, the other types of walk-ins, the positive, the benevolent kind, these are starseeds that came here who volunteered, who said, hey, I can totally do this. And they got here and they realized what a messed up situation this all is. And they realized how hard all of this is. And they couldn't handle it anymore. And they checked out. And then what happened is their body, it's already got the codes. It's got the energy primed for everything. That body is viable. It should not be able to just rot away and then leave that energy unfulfilled. They're already primed. They're already in a mature body. Go ahead and, if that soul's gone, here's the permission, bring in the other one, and suddenly the personality changes overnight and they start heading in a completely different direction. And almost 100% of the time, they end up on this path right here, trying to make themselves cleaner and cleaning the world out around them.
Now, what about that parasite or that entity? Do they ever, I want to use a bad word, do they ever mess with you? I mean, you must have, what do you have, kryptonite? I mean.
So tonight, like the electronic interference, that's actually pretty tame. I haven't had any major attacks in a while. I've gotten to the point to where I'm just really aware. Like if somebody threw like a basketball at your head or something like that, you would instinctively hold your arms up and shield your face. I instinctively go for the energy. I instinctively, immediately, whenever something happens that falls outside of my perception of what is supposed to be in balance, I am immediately paying attention to it, and I'm on top of it right then and there. That being said, I still do have things that mess with me. I still have things that try to lead me astray, but it's really easy to notice when it happens because I've done this work so long that I know who I am, and I recognize internally when something goes off. Like, I'm way too frustrated right now for me to actually be frustrated at this little tiny event. What is happening here? And that's the type of a process where I'll step away from it and look at it from a broader perspective. But in the beginning, when I was figuring all of this out, I was like the only person that was actually doing this around me. I didn't know anybody else except for a few big names like Lisa Renee, Cameron Day. Those are the types of people who I knew were actually stepping into this energy right here, and I was a major, major target. There were some attacks that were absolutely horrific, and this is actually one of the motivations for me wanting to get people to understand how to do this, because not only does it lift up and brighten the world, it makes me less of a target. There's more people to lift up this quotient instead of me just shooting through in this one point right here. And so it really just kind of took the focus off of me, and it's all around the world. People are waking up and stretching their energetic bonds, and the attention can no longer stay focused individually on one person at the level that it was. They're in a constant state of repair right now. Everything's always breaking down, and they're always repairing it, and they can't keep this up forever.
Where does the parasite go? Like the one you described, with you, the dark, the black spot inside of your head, and you had them on your body or inside of your body as well. You found out later. After they leave you, where do they go, Eric?
So this is actually really important. I'm glad that you brought this up right here. You have to make sure that you get rid of these guys. Connection to source consciousness. This is as simple as taking your chi and filling up your head, turning the crown into a flashlight and shining up through the veil, connecting in with the creator energy on the other side, and then pulling it down, pulling it through the veil. This right here is your conduit to put things inside of. And when you pull a vacuum down from the central sun, from source consciousness, you can take these dark things that you've got wrapped up inside of your brilliant sunlight energy, and you can put them inside of these vacuum tubes, and whoop, they get sucked up to source. And inside of source, they have two choices. They can either get restructured into base energy and start their journey over brand new, or they can convert themselves into the light. This is very, very important because there's a lot of people who know how to remove these things and they're very successful at it, but they don't get rid of them. And so they'll pull them out of somebody and just kind of, shake your hands off and flush the energy away, and it'll go, downstairs. It'll go to the neighbors. It'll go to your kids, and like, this is really, really important. If these things, if you ever come into contact with them and you manage to get rid of them, you need to send them to the light. Otherwise, you're just sicking them on somebody else. They'll say, okay, well, this person's too strong. I can't do that. I'm going to go find somebody else who's a victim.
And this is probably just as an important of question. Where do they come from? Is it universal?
No.
Are they coming from the universe? Are they coming from the sun?
I honestly don't know. I really wish I did. If I could find the origination point, I could shut all of this down. And like, that's kind of a grandiose claim just as one person, but it's always about the origination point. You can track anything back to that tiny little butterfly flapping its wings in Costa Rica that starts the hurricane over in Africa,
Right.
And it doesn't matter how big the effect is. You can track it down to that tiny, tiny event, and you can neutralize that, and then you can neutralize the whole entire host afterwards. It has to kind of destabilize it on itself, and you have to clean up the pieces, which are a lot obvious once it's shut down. But I honestly don't know. There's all kinds of different theories. The ones that really resonate with me there's two of them. The Gaia Sophia story, how the Sophia split was not, we weren't ready for that. The planet wasn't ready for that. And she immaturely did that. And through her ignorance created archonic types of consciousnesses that were separated away from source. That resonates with me, as well as the alternate universe theory where it broke in from another universe. I think that's the AI construct. I think the AI construct came from an alternate universe. I think the archonic construct was already here inside of our multidimensionality to begin with. And then you had multiple types of species that just through natural evolution, you can't have everything turn out peachy all the time. And I think those types of consciousnesses who then decided to travel the cosmos and subjugate other types of consciousnesses under their will, I think those guys showed up too. And it's all just a perfect mix mash of an ultimate creator God who has been blinded and, literally just hobbled in every aspect. And they're using us as batteries. And so you have all of these opportunists at the same time, or if it wasn't even the same time, it might have been concurrently, it might have been one after another over 200,000-300,000 millions of years. You never know. But it's the perfect storm. The original incursion that was able to get us through our pride to shut ourselves down and start creating these planetary catastrophes that even a god in a space in that point in time, seeing everybody and everything they know dying violently around them, will put them in a very dark place. And that was the original incursion that allowed all of these things to spiral out afterwards. And so I think this is a very old problem, and I think this is a very new problem, because the deeper I go into this, the higher I recognize that it goes. I felt interference all the way up past the 9th dimension. And from what I've heard from all the dogma that I've heard around this is they can't go up past the 5th. I know for a fact that's not true, but I don't know where the end is. I just know for a fact that we're stronger than any of this. So no matter how high it goes, no matter how far out that this ends up taking us, we're still able to handle this. We aren't in a situation to where we can't handle it. Yes, we might have some tough times. Yes, we might have to be, force evolved in the moment because we're in the refiner's fire at the moment, but we can handle this. And as long as we stay true to this with the love in our hearts, the smile on our face, and that dogged attitude of I'm not letting this go, you cannot stop this. There's nothing that can stop this. We're taking our planet back. This is ours. This is the living library that we are the custodians of, and we are taking it back, and there's no stopping this. That's all we have to do.
Is there a possibility that we have caused some of this ourselves with like CERN and experimenting with things that we don't understand, that we could possibly have opened up portals into another dimension and allowed things here that we didn't expect?
So the original planetary catastrophes were self-inflicted. The original archons, the parasitic consciousnesses, when they came here to begin with, they were very, very tiny. They were like a little piece of the consciousness that was like, hey, well, but you're so amazing. What if you try to do this? And it was through pride that they actually got us to start tapping into energies that you aren't supposed to be able to tap into in the physical realm. And it was through the pride of elevating the species to heights never seen before and creating a way of life that was better than anything ever seen before, despite the fact of very, very clear warnings. That's what caused the original planetary incursions to begin with. The original planetary catastrophes that killed 99% of the population, that was all self-inflicted. And everything since then has been a product of recycled trauma. This original trauma point right here, it keeps making the rounds. It keeps on coming back. And this is why we have those apocalypse timelines. This is why we have the Armageddon timelines, to where there's an overwhelming sense of doom and gloom, because it's trying to catch that energy as it comes back through the cycle and then reform it, make it happen again, and destroy the ascension process and keep us all stuck here one more time. But it's not happening this time. This is the last time this is going on. We're kicking off. Ta-da.
Yeah, exactly. You want to hang on and take some phone calls after this break?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's do that. Now, what I'm going to do, Eric, I'm going to reset you on another phone line. So I'm going to reconnect there. So don't freak out. And we'll reach out to you on another phone line. Just pick that up. It's going to say, private or something on that. But pick that up. And then we'll use the other phone bank to take phone calls on this last segment. I think it's too important of a conversation, especially at the beginning of 2018, not to answer some of the audience questions out there. So let's do that. We'll take a break. I'm going to reset with Eric. And when we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines, 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Eric Rains. What a great conversation. So, phone lines are open, and, well, they're open now, and the calls are already coming in. So let's do that. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Eric Rains and your phone calls right after this short break. Stay with us.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Wow, what a show tonight. We've got Eric Rains doing some overtime with us. We're going to take your phone calls. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Numana. Numana, emergency food storage for you and your family. It's got a 25-year shelf life. MSG and GMO free, made in America. It is the best. Tastes great too. I've tested all of it. Every order over $100 gets you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. All you got to do, click on the Numana banner over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Use the promo code Jimmy. Numana Food Storage. All right, Eric, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to do this?
I am.
Live calls on Fade to Black. Let's go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Marie from San Jose. Thanks for taking my call. Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Hi, I had a question regarding one of the things that really just got my attention is that you have children and you teach your children a lot of these techniques. I personally have a child who's going to be 14, and he's very aware of a lot of this stuff. And I wanted to know if you had any techniques, any recommendations on helping a teenage boy go through and help process a lot of this. He's a sensitive guy. He's a lot of sensitive energy, and he comes home with, I can tell when he comes home, not himself. And if you have any recommendations on how I can help him be a better
I do, actually. My YouTube channel, Eric Pilgrim, I have, I believe, 7 different technique videos right now. The one that I would actually lead you to is either the breath of life or the emotion meditation. Both of these right here actually show you how to move the chi through the body, and it's a really easy, systematic way of actually figuring out how to tap into these energies right here. So the little technique that I took you guys through creating the orb, that's the breath of life is more of an in-depth type of a walkthrough in that, and it's something that you can listen to 4 or 5 times and figure out how to do that on your own, and then you don't have to listen to it anymore. Now, the emotion meditation is actually about tapping into more of the feelings inside the body, the post-disclosure sensations of just awe and awareness and understanding and love and joy, and then using those awarenesses from the future to then clean out the darkness from the past inside the body and flush out things along those lines. Now, that being said, he's a 14-year-old boy. When I was a 14-year-old boy, I was full of teenage angst. I don't know if the techniques would have helped me then, but what I do know is that giving me something to do with like the martial arts, something that I could focus myself in physically and mentally to actually apply to myself in that manner, it was very, very beneficial for me. So if anything, I would say get him into something where he's engaging his body and he has to understand where his body is in relation to the reality around him. It coupled with the techniques with that, it brings you into a space to where like with the typical normal teenage hormones as you're going through puberty, you really start to just really worry about what other people are thinking. You start to lose confidence. You start to constantly be looking around outside of yourself for validation. And when you come to a place to where you're using the body in the manner that martial arts and that concentration gives you in those manners of, keeping yourself in precision and precise in alignment, coupled with the energetic connection, it really opens up all the conduits, and it gives you a sense of awareness, which gives you a sense of confidence, which gives you a better projection of your energy to the world around you. So, I mean, there's multiple ways you can go about doing this, but the bottom line is he's a 14-year-old teenage boy. He probably doesn't like his mom's advice too much, so just kind of take it easy with trying to push stuff onto him and just say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've tried, and here's what I felt. It was pretty interesting. Give it a try. See how this happens, because we can't lead horses to water to force them to drink. We have to make them recognize that they're pretty darn thirsty before they get there, So it's all about just letting him know that there's different ways to do things, and you don't have to be a victim inside your own body. You can step up into a place of power inside yourself.
Yeah, and the other part about that, and Marie, thank you for the phone call.
You guys are great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. And the other part about it for me, when it comes to the martial arts and also the breathing techniques, excuse me, it shows you yourself, and then it's also respect. And he would turn into one of the smartest kids in school if he understood what the breathing techniques were actually doing for him, and the respect that the martial arts and the inner focus that gives you too as well. He would, man, I wish I had that when I was a kid, and think about that. That's, I think that's really great advice. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Eric. You're live. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I hate doing this. Usually it's a bad connection, and I just don't like doing this to people. But okay, all right. I did that one night over at Coast, right? I did the 3, 2, 1 countdown. I got email for about a month. Dude, that was just rude, man. That was just rude. I was like, man, I hung on as long as I could. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Mark from North Carolina.
Hi, Mark from North Carolina. Say hi to Eric.
Hey, Eric. How you doing?
I'm doing quite all right. Hi, Mark. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, so I'll try to make this like 10 seconds short. Basically, for 30 years ago, I got a massage when I was like 20. And while I was on the massage table, first massage of my life at 20 years old, the guy was massaging my chest, and all of a sudden I jump off the massage table because I thought I was laying on a snake. I felt a snake in between my back and the massage table. And I was like, whoa, what was that? And he didn't know what I was talking about. I get home, and that night my stomach muscles start contracting, and I have this like seizure, but I don't lose consciousness. It's not a seizure. It's just these muscle spasms. So fast forward 30 years later, I still have it, but now that energy goes up into my head, skull, it's pressure, my arms do all these weird motions, my tongue sticks out. I know it sounds crazy. It's nothing happens paranormal, but it just seems like there's this body desire to move some energy, and it's manifesting in my physicality, but no matter how much I try to talk to someone or figure out, I do not know what the message is or how I'm supposed to move the energy. Do you have any insight?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So when we have massages and we start getting the musculature to let go, this is something that I was actually taught in massage school. It's something called an emotional release. We end up having the energy stuck in an area that's a stagnant emotion beginning to relax and flow through. When that happens, you might have all kinds of different things that shift. You might start screaming, you might start crying, you might start, laughing. All kinds of different emotional things can pop up. But what is the significant part about this is it's indicative of an energetic shift in the body. And it sounds like you had something that was either locked up inside of that stagnant energy that when you started shifting it, it tried to I guess you could say gain its foothold back, because these things, they're a very solid construct inside of a liquid world, and they need blockage. They need something hard for them to grab a hold of. And that's what these stagnant emotions are. And that's what these blockages inside of the body, these mind, body, spirit blockages that keep us from our highest potential, are what they grab a hold of. That's what their hardness is. And then they go in and they spread it out. And what you were feeling right there is that energy flow, that indicative shift right there, it knocked it loose. And then so once it was loose, it had to go and seat itself back into something that it could hold on to, which is lower inside of the pelvis, because the energetic shift in the chest, whatever that was, once that released, it shifted something in the meridians that did not allow it to hide inside the chest anymore. And so once it wasn't hiding, you were very aware of it. And once you're aware of these things, you always stay aware of them until you get rid of them. Now, as for getting rid of this stuff, what I would recommend for you to do is definitely go to my YouTube channel. There's a few things that I would recommend for you. We've got the protection and the extraction protocols. That's how you actually pull these things out of your body. I think you could do that, but you need training beforehand. I think that you need to build up your energetic reserves. So the Breath of Life video, that would be the first one that you want to go and do. Figure that technique out, be able to breathe throughout your entire body until you're comfortable with it, and then start moving into the extraction protection protocols and the extraction protection protocol preparation. The preparation teaches EFT tapping, it teaches self-lymphatic drainage, as well as something called Qigong. Qigong is hands down one of the most important things you can do to cultivate your spiritual energy on this planet. It's physical and energetic and mental motion all at one time. And so that's a really good tutorial for two different techniques. One's called carrying the moon, and the other one's lifting the sky. And these two techniques right here open up the central channels of the body. The more you open this up, the harder it is for this thing inside of you to hold on to anything. When you start tapping into the emotion code, when you start breathing feeling of joy, sensations of awareness and joy, excitement and happiness through the body, that's when you start releasing the emotions that begin draining out through the feet. You start pulling them into the earth. And that creates more and more flow, less and less blockage. It repairs more and more damage until eventually the flow is completely and totally tight. There's nothing that can tap into it. And you'll notice that one day you'll have like some type of a weird pop or a crick in your leg that it hurts really, really bad, and then all of a sudden it's gone and you feel amazing. Either that or you could just have somebody like me pull it out for you. But, you know, it's one of those ways. It's all about a process. And honestly, I think it's a lot stronger if you remove it yourself than have somebody else do it for you.
There you go, Mark. You probably never heard that advice before, have you?
Not the do it yourself and not have someone else do it for you part. No, I haven't.
Yeah, go check out Eric's YouTube channel. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to his website and book his sessions too because I'm lazy. I'll start with his help.
Fair enough. First. Fair enough, yeah. and have a great 2018. That's a great phone call right there. And when somebody, it sounded like to me right there. 323-825-5045. That you knew exactly what he was talking about.
Oh, yeah. Not only was I tuned into it because he was speaking about it and tuning into the energy himself, it's pretty a typical situation. People have experiences like this all the time. People have no idea how common these actually are. But, I mean, who talks about them? You think you're crazy. You know, you don't want to go and talk to your friends that, hey, I had a snake running around up my spine. I felt it. You know, like they think you're crazy. They're going to put you in the nut house, you know, and that's how our entire society is designed around these type of topics right here. But these situations are way more common than people actually think. I'd say his situation, easily 1 out of 10 people in America have had something like that happen, maybe even more.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb. Say hi to Eric.
Hi, Eric. You know, it's hard to believe you were ever shy because the energy and uplifting of your voice and the things that you resonate have been so positive tonight. I really appreciate you.
You are so very welcome. It is my honor to facilitate.
There you go, Deb. Do you have a quick question?
I do have a quick question. You mentioned earlier that, you know, a lot of people, because your paradigm has shifted so drastically, and I think all fade enough can relate to these feelings, that people think you're crazy and they think you're weird. How do you maintain those relationships with friends or family members that are putting negativity and judgment upon you and still be able to feel not negative towards them, but maintain those relationships so you can be that shining light?
Oh, there you go. Great question.
Well, one of the most important things that you can really do is, who wrote the 4 agreements? I believe it was Don Miguel Ruiz. He was the one who wrote the 4 agreements. But one of the most important 4 agreements, I think, is do not take anything personally. When you recognize that you are responsible for you and your journey alone, other people's opinions really don't matter. And so it's only when you care about other people's opinions, that's when they bother you. Once you get to a point to where you really don't care, once you stand up in your truth and say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, and, there's nothing you can do to sway my opinion in this matter, that's when people start to just leave you alone, because beforehand when they're trying to, oh, you're crazy, you're nuts, before you put up those boundaries and say, look, I love you, but you're not allowed to do this to me anymore. Like, you are literally attacking me, and how conscious is this? If you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. Don't engage with it. You don't have to put me down as a person, though. And once you put these boundaries up and say, hey, results are what matter, I bring results. I have results, and it doesn't matter if everybody else says I'm crazy, because this growing group of crazy people are getting some serious results. And that's all that matters. So just go off of how you feel. Other people's opinions really don't matter one bit. Your happiness is by far more of a priority than anybody else's opinion around you. They're responsible for their journey. You're responsible for your journey. Pay attention to you. They don't matter.
There you go, Deb.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. You guys have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. What do you think about 2018? I mean, it can't. I say this a lot, but I mean it. It can't get worse than 2017, can it? Is 2018 going to be a positive year?
By and large, yes. I truly believe that the majority of the year is going to be much more positive than the negative aspects. But I also think that we're going to see some pretty heavy stuff. I don't think we're going to see any like black swans like 9/11 or anything like that. But I think we're going to be seeing some pretty shocking disclosures to the public that in retrospect, I don't think we understand how traumatic these are actually going to be to the general population who's not aware of these things. And so I think that right there is actually something that we need to focus on quite a bit to be able to transition people through some of this big information as it gets dropped.
Yeah, because, that's a really good point.
We all lost it, as we were doing our research and we're going off on this deep end here further and further down the rabbit hole and realizing how messed up the world is. There was a point in time in each and every single one of our awakening processes where we were like, well, what the hell can we do about this? Like, this is just so messed up. It's so far out of control. What could we even do to stop it? And people are going to be going through this process as well, despite the fact that it's already being stopped. They're having all these revelations of that, once we get through the heavy stuff, that's when we're going to start seeing the cohesion. That's where we're going to start seeing people coming together to build, to create something that is outside of the scope of the parasitic construct and all the programs that are operating right now. And 2018, I truly, truly see this as the year of the light. I see this as where light takes full dominance and out in the open. It's not going to be something that's hidden, with light workers all just, hidden around the planet, all feeling isolated and alone. I think this is going to be where we actually start having gatherings of starseeds that come together en masse in the physical. I think this is where we're going to start building these Ubuntu communities and these societies that are contributionism instead of capitalistic in nature. And this is what I feel coming. There is so much movement, so much potential, so much building right now inside of the energies for the timelines of the planet. But no matter how we go about it, when I look down the timeline ahead of us, there's nothing but brilliance. There's nothing but something so amazing. I can't even describe it. So, that's all I've got for you guys. Like there's no doom and gloom coming. What we've got going is amazing.
I have no issues with Ubuntu and some of these movements and these ideas, just as long as I get to keep my pizza, my diet, and my chilled vodka. If we get all of that, then that is bliss on earth. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Eric. 3, 2, 1. See, man, that's twice in a night. But I really do mean that. We need to, there's other things too as well that make me happy. I mean, joyous. I like the sound of a classic car, a V8, right? I don't want to have to give that up. You know, I like my fun. I like my ceremony. I like hanging out with friends and cooking food and letting loose. I enjoy that. But if there's a way to balance all of that out, you know what I mean? That I am so cool with that. I see nothing but happiness in the future. Let's if I can get the V8, the classic Mustang in the mix. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Megan from Campbell.
This is who again?
Happy New Year. This is Megan from Campbell.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said me again. That's okay. Say hi to Eric. Happy New Year.
Hey, Eric. Happy New Year. Hey, Eric.
Happy New Year.
Hey, so I have a question. So when you're working with people and working with their systems and doing energy work, how can you tell the difference between energy work and actual medical issues? Because I've mentioned this before, that I've been dealing with a medical issue for the last 2 years, and it was actually a lymphatic systemic infection that I'm still leaching from my body after 2 years. And it's extremely painful, extremely uncomfortable, and it's debilitating and all that. And initially I did try to do a lot of Eastern eyes type of therapies, and it actually made things worse. So how would you, as a light worker, as somebody who is a healer, be able to identify that and be able to direct the person hastily to a medical doctor?
Well, first off, I would have to actually see what was going on energetically with the body. And I've dealt with quite a few people who have issues that are, quote, not curable. And I'm not saying that I'm like, I can cure people from things like that. It's not that manner at all. It's just that some of the things that people say are incurable are nothing more than blockage inside of the body. And so when you figure out where the blockage is and you release it, then all of a sudden the issue starts to drain itself loose and the body takes over homeostasis. For a lymphatic issue like this, first things first, what I would do is I would put you into a state of crystalline resonance to where we have only the highest resonances that are communicating inside of the body. Then I would go into the nervous system and see how the nervous system is communicating with the muscle memory and the fascia, and then we'd see if we have any imbalance right there. Oftentimes what that leads to is a resonance of toxicity that's usually inside of the lymphatic systems, either the filters, the nodes, or the thymus itself. When we do that, then I would go into the thymus, we'd start regenerating and opening that up, and then I'd have you breathing with me through the entire body, pumping through the thymus. We'd give you some food-grade baking soda twice a day, a teaspoon morning and night, and a cup of water for no more than 3 days, and then we would see how you were doing from there. If you were still having issues on that level, that's where we'd start going after the physicality. That's where we'd start figuring out, okay, why is the body still toxic? How come you're not filtering this out? What can we do to strengthen that? That's when we'd start looking at making sure that your kidneys are filtering properly. That's when we'd make sure that your spleen and your liver are filtering the blood properly. And that's when we'd start looking at different environmental contributions. Are you having any allergic reactions? Are you having any types of environmental issues? Like, are there any chemicals that you're exposed to? What kind of food are you eating? It's a whole comprehensive thing that we have to go through. But by and large, I'd say about 90% of the issues that we come into contact with are either energetic or emotional in nature. It's the rare 10% where it's actual physical. And but even then, when it is physical, once you get the energy moving correctly, the body starts to regenerate. So even the physical stuff you can regenerate too.
There you go. Listen, we're at the end of the show, but thank you for the phone call. And you can go to Eric's website and just click on the banner or click on the links on Eric's name over at jimmychurchradio.com. It'll take you straight there, and his YouTube channel. All right?
Sure thing.
Absolutely.
Sure thing.
Have a great, safe 2018. I can't believe it. We're 2 days into 2018, and I already feel better. Eric, where are you speaking? What's up next for you? What are you doing?
Here, hold on. Let me grab my piece of paper here. I've actually got a few things happening. All right, so the next one that I've got is January 27th at the end of this month. This is in Portland at the Eco Trust building. I've got the Immortal Breath series. This is a workshop. It's a 7-hour workshop where I'm going to be walking people through multiple modality techniques. And more importantly, we're actually going to be walking people how to do trauma releases and to get rid of stagnant emotions that are locked up inside of the physical fascia itself, and then get rid of that physically, energetically, and mentally. So we've got some really good stuff coming out with that. Give you some, anybody who goes to that, they're going to leave with tools and techniques that they could take home and teach other people immediately to help them experience a better frame of life and help the people around them experience pain-free life as well. February 2nd, it's the Golden Frequency Presents. It's our online class. You can go to the website, which, by the way, right now we're revamping. The domain name's getting switched over. I experienced so much craziness trying to get this done. It was insane. But it's finally done, and that's getting transferred over right now. So within the next 3 or 4 days, that should be ready, and you can find the information on the Golden Frequency online class. That's every Friday at 12:30. March 3rd, I'll be in Seattle at the new Holly Gathering Hall, and that'll be Leveling Up the Quantum Field. That's the event that we're going to right there. So you just look up Leveling Up the Quantum Field, and I'm speaking with a few other people. I believe Jordan Sather and Brad Johnson are also going to be speaking with me. I don't remember the other people, but it's really an amazing event. Everybody involved with it is really, really high vibrational, and more importantly, you can go and meet your tribe there. The people who are called to these types of events, they are not your average person. They are the starseeds, the light code warriors, you know, and this is how we meet each other. We're drawn to these types of things, and we go and we find our tribe, and this is how you make those connections right there. So definitely keep an eye out for that one. As for online stuff, we've got UnleashingNaturalHumanity.com. On Facebook, I've got Unleashing Natural Humanity. There's a group and a page. You could follow the page, join the group. But more importantly, I've got the Golden Frequency Support Group. This was a experiment in group healing to where I actually was working on almost 500 people at one time, and this manifested into the most amazing support group with guided meditations and group work. It's phenomenal. The Golden Frequency Support Group on Facebook is hands down one of my favorite places to be right now. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, Eric. You took me all the way up to the credits at the end of the show. Thank you so much, Eric Rains, everybody, and his links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. And I got to say, what a way to start off the year here on Fade to Black. And tomorrow night, Jason Quitt is going to be joining us all the way live from Canada. I understand that he is snowed in. Thank you so much, Eric. Have a great, safe 2018.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Eric Rains, everybody. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paulman, Renee, and Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Go click on Eric's name over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. It'll take you straight to his website. Everything you need is right there. Until tomorrow night, Jason Quitt. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.